All right, cool. Welcome, everybody. It is week 6 of the 2024 trading year. We got myself, your host, Warren from SVOG. We got Larry, Wani, Kurt, Linda, and Flavius. All right, the usual suspects. Excellent day. So notes are in the chat box, and let's do our quick high-level overview of our ridiculously long, abridged 81-page set of notes here. And see what we got. All right, cool. So we're gearing up for the next SVOG meeting with our leadership team, and we'll talk about that in a sec. A couple idiots of the week. We'll look at how NFT art is now in the clearance rack of Walmart. So that's fun. We'll look at shenanigans, not quite trading related, but there's an update on the Ukrainian winner of the Miss Japan contest. And she relinquished her crown because she was caught having an affair with the judge or with one of the judges. And there's nothing more Japanese than extramarital affairs. It's practically a national pastime for Japanese women. So we'll take a look at that. More woke shenanigans from Delta Airlines. And then all kinds of craziness happening with the southern border. And I thought this was a funny image. Heaven has strict immigration laws and hell has open borders. So good stuff there. And we'll look at our market overview, of course. We'll look at the AAII sentiment trading data. And it would be nice if I could spell correctly. Excellent. And oops, that's old. We'll look at the Fear and Greed Index from CNN. We'll look at our Stock Traders Almanac. Why this is the wrong month here. I'll have to fix that. We'll look at our sector rotation. Lots of earnings news to talk about. We'll go over the past major milestones since we last met. So we'll talk about Disney, ESGs in general, Exxon and Chevron's performance, Apple as well, and Amazon. Cool. And we'll look at what the kids are trading, of course. And I'm sure ARM is number 1 or 2 at the moment. And we have a fun news cycle, of course, with Meta and Econ news. Oh, I gotta copy and paste the original Black Swan list here. But yeah, we'll look at credit card data and how that's going to impact the revolving credit figures that are adjacent to the M2 money supply. And we'll look at Powell's actions, of course. And we'll take a look at maybe getting more capital for the option traders among us. And then fun shenanigans at the IRS, no surprise there. And we'll look at US diesel, which is fundamental for practically all industrial applications and logistics and production related things. And then there is a massive flight of dollars out of US banks, and we'll take some specific looks at that and how that'll impact us on Main Street. We talked about this last time about Aozora Bank in Japan, and we'll see what this means to us today and see what the update is. Let's see. There's been a massive sell-off institutionally, so we'll take a closer look at that as we've crossed the 5,000 mark threshold on the S&P, which I'm still shocked that it happened, but yeah. And then we'll look at a quick summary of January, the best and worst of January 2024 through the different asset classes. And we'll see where we are on the emoji guide to investing and try to figure that out. And then in the bigger collective IOU toilet paper markets, we'll see how, let's see, we'll start with crypto news, and we might see an Ethereum ETF by early summer. And there's some more Fed news that we'll look at. And what else? This is a premium article, but I just grabbed the screenshot here. So 10 trillion in US Treasuries coming to market in 2024. And we'll look at regional bank stocks. And I've been talking a little bit about this in the Discord with New York Community Bank. And this might set off the whole KRE ETF going downward yet again. So we'll take a look at that as well. So that's fun. And lots of domestic news. Of course, there's the Pineapple Express and the subsequent flooding that's happening all over the place. And that's been exciting. So we'll take a look at that. Uh, and then we love talk around demographics, and demographics is destiny. So we'll see how the migratory patterns are shaping up. And we'll probably take a look at, let me set a reminder here. We'll take a look at our reverse Oregon Trail watch list. We haven't looked at that in a little bit, but we'll take a look at that. And that's as people are moving or downsizing or just transitioning, there's lots of services that people have to use, like U-Haul, storage unit related type stuff. So we'll take a look at that. And then we'll look at energy production domestically and what that means to us. And we'll take a look at some Super Bowl related stats and see what's coming down the pipeline for Sunday. What else? Fun pictures from the illegal compounds in New York State and all kinds of fun things there. Stabbings, drugs, and deaths. And more NYCB news here. And they got downgraded, which is wonderful for us to trade that. And let's see, more econ data. We'll take a look at some good charts there. We'll briefly talk about Tucker Carlson's. I'm not sure when it's announced, but he has this big interview with Putin that will be released on Twitter. So that's exciting, and he's getting all kinds of flack from mainstream media. So that sucks, but yeah. And Biden's not having a good time, and we'll take a look at that and see how the November election might be shaping up. Let's see. Oh, this should be in the oil section. But yes, we'll look at oil, of course. And why is my international news section? Okay, I need to clean this up. Okay. We'll take a look at the Nord Stream pipeline investigation and problems in the Eurozone related to that. And then more free lollipops to seduce the voting public, specifically the youth vote. So we'll take a look at that. And okay, this is misfiled, but we'll look at diamond prices. This should be in the commodities section. Okay, need to clean that up too. And we'll take a look at Bud Light as maybe this should be an idiot of the week actually, but we'll take another glance at Bud Light and see how they're going to potentially recover if they can at all. Meanwhile, some more related banking news, and we're seeing the collapse of small mom and pop type banks, unfortunately, and too big to fail is ever expanding, unfortunately. Cool. And then this again, it was a premium article, but I thought this was a good snapshot just to take a closer look at together. And then, of course, we have more airline news, and there is no end to the woes at Boeing with missing door bolts and other malfunctions. So we'll take a closer look at that. And then I'm really excited to talk about McDonald's and the upcoming food and beverage disaster in California. That reminds me, I should text some of my restaurant owning buddies and see what their thoughts are.
What about the $18 Big Mac?
Yeah, the combos. We'll take a look at that price in real time. And then this is before April, so before it hikes up to I think $20 an hour. So yeah. Yeah, $18 combos.
$18?
Yeah. We'll take a look at that.
Wow.
Cool. More domestic news. We'll take a look at the top types of cancers. I know I have so many friends that are like in their 50s and 60s that are just dying, and it's ridiculous. It's really sad, but holy cow. We'll take a look at that. Oops, we'll fix that. What is this? I didn't mean to do this. Okay. Oops, yeah, I copied too much. Okay. We'll talk about 23andMe, which is folding basically, and we'll take a look at their stock performance, among other things. And it has a kind of treacherous beginnings, and we'll explore its early history and its relation to the Google founders. Cool. And then Oh, this is all misfiled. Okay, I need to change. I think I screwed up the order here. But yes, we'll talk about Chinese stocks and put a potential Trump win in November and what that means for tariffs. So that'll be fun. Uh, we'll look at the US beef prices as a whole with the herd data. And what else? Okay, I copied a bunch of these things incorrectly. Okay, I need to clean this up a lot. Okay. Okay, I think I copy and pasted the entire page of articles. I think that's why it's so freaking long. Okay, let me erase this. Okay, this has nothing to do with what I want to talk about. Okay, no wonder it was 81 pages. Okay, sorry. Erase, erase, erase. Okay, okay. Okay. Nope, not talking about this either. We can't trade on DEI news, so I don't care. Nope, don't want this. Okay, bankruptcy of US states. I do want to talk about that. We'll look at the last ridiculous jobs report, and there's some shenanigans there. We'll look at Tesla car sales from Hertz, of course. That's always fun. And then shifting to real estate news, we'll look at big banks versus smaller rivals with the continued commercial real estate debt debacles. And this contagion is going global. So it's kind of reminding me of the 06 to 08 mortgage debt crisis, where Stockton, Vallejo, and Scandinavian countries started going belly up because they got seduced by the high rates. And we'll look at real estate for millennials like myself, and also COVID era back rent is now due in Los Angeles. And also this demographic also has school loan tuition payments to also pay. So sucks to be young and stupid in LA. All right, lots of fun engineering news. And we'll take a look at, I found an interesting thread on NVIDIA, and this is becoming a national security risk and easily falling into the too big to fail category. So we'll take a look at that. And there's some other thoughts on 23andMe. And this mofo, Adam Newman, wants to buy WeWork yet again for a third round of shenanigans. This guy is now a master grifter, and man, he's just figured out the formula. For some reason, he just attracts money. I don't know what's going on, but we'll take a look at what's happening. It's going to be Regis 2.0 yet again. So yeah. And then if you guys have seen the early adopters for the Apple Vision goggles have come out, and there's been some interesting footage of, I think this was planted and on purpose, but some Tesla drivers have been pulled over for wearing this during driving. And one of them was a Cybertruck guy. So that's probably a PR stunt, but yeah, it's ridiculous and quite dystopian. So we'll take a look at that. And got some interesting South Korean news. And looks like folks are waking up to the risks of EV fires in South Korea. So EV sales for the first time have declined since 2017. All right, cool. And then we have some Apple news as well with devices, and we'll check that out. We talked about 23andMe, and then we'll look at the top and best and worst IPOs of 2023, and we should probably make a watch list and look at volatility opportunities. So let's make a watch list. Watch list creation. Okay, cool. We'll make a watch list. We'll look at some insider selling with Mr. Bezos and his plastic skank. Gosh, she has more plastic than most people have plastic in their wallets. So ridiculous, but yeah. And all kinds of fun things with mega cap tech stocks. And we'll take a look at this article. And we have a new update to the mega stock category list as well. So I thought this was funny. So we'll take a look at that. And here's some fun conversations on the labor markets. So I found out an interesting thread on the main reason for massive tech layoffs is a specific way that R&D expenditures are calculated, and you can't expense that labor anymore, which is one big reason for the layoffs, besides cheap cocaine money from the Fed. So take a look at that. This is slightly redundant with the fast food item, but we'll take a look at this. And I found an interesting thread on why there's so many programming YouTubers now, like, that are pushing for AI boot camps and whatnot. So basically, the main reason is you sell shovels during the gold rush. And for a lot of folks that are trying to kind of learn to code and get into tech jobs, there's no real market for entry-level folks at the moment. And a lot of YouTube personalities are milking that overall phenomenon. So I think folks who are laid off from tech, with a bit of cash, they should probably learn to trade options and sell volatility. But yeah, we'll take a look at that, which is a kind of interesting sort of gaze into Gen Z and the millennial demographics. So we'll take a look at that. And then, of course, fun international news. As mentioned earlier, we got the Tucker Carlson interview that'll be dropping in a bit. Oh, okay, this is redundant. Okay, we mentioned this. We'll talk about the Nord Stream briefly. And then there's an update on the historical crisis in the Red Sea with the Houthis controlling all of the transport. So we'll see how that shakes up. And again, this affects, I think, 12% of global trade volume. So yeah. And then fun updates from UBS. And I am definitely concerned about these guys since they gobbled up Credit Suisse, just like New York Community Bank gobbled up Signature Bank. So the contagion is spreading. And all kinds of fun things with Russia and China talking smack in the Middle East. So that's always fun. And we'll look at who hates the UN more. So number one is Warren. And then after that, we'll see how this shakes up. Cool. And then fun news in the oil and commodities sector. Oh, this is a repeat. We'll talk about diamonds, of course. And we'll look at coal projects with Bank of America. And we'll talk about beef. Okay, this is a redundant. And food inflation, of course. All right. And I copied a little too much. No one cares about Nikki Haley. You'll be unknown in a couple months. Nope, not talking about this either. Don't care. Don't care. Okay, I copied and pasted way too much. Okay. Don't care, don't care, don't care. Don't care, don't care. Don't care. Okay. We talked about this already. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, sorry guys. Let me bear with me as I clean this up. What is this? Oh, okay. Nope, 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 nope. We already talked about this. Man, this overview is taking forever. Okay. Okay. This is misfiled. Okay, VIX, nope, 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 nope. Okay, I'll talk about space IPOs. Yeah, okay. We copied. Okay. Okay, I see what I did wrong. Okay, back to oil news. All right. Asia oil imports hit an 8-month high in January, and lots of flipping action with this to everybody else. So we'll take a look at that. And China's having some production problems with oil itself as well. And we'll talk about cocoa. And it has broken a new all-time high. And we talked about this in the past, but now we're breaking a 46-year high. So all kinds of fun there. And we'll look at uranium and the supply crunch there as well. And there's not much precious metals news at the moment. But yes, lots of fun China news. So we'll talk about the Chinese version of the the Chinese plunge protection team. So all kinds of fun there. And Beijing is trying to make some desperate personnel changes to save their collapsing stock market. And this is a premium article, but this is a worthy screenshot. And yeah, we'll take a look at the brief spike in Chinese stocks and how that's collapsing. And I've been paying very close attention to the Chinese watch list, Panda Tech, and we'll take a look at that. The highest volatility tickers are too small to trade, unfortunately, and they don't have weekly contracts. So I'll show you guys my research there. And then we have further legal tightening in Hong Kong that's going to further reduce freedoms there. And we'll talk about Chinese marijuana in the US. So that's exciting. I should also text my greenery agriculture involved friends and see what their thoughts are on this. So I'll think about that. And then there is a Florida ban on property potentially on for the Chinese that are buying up stuff. So that's going to be good. And we were talking about this earlier about tariffs. And we'll look at China's attempt at Middle Eastern or the power grab for Middle Eastern oil assets. And as an interesting parallel to the youth unemployment crisis in China, I saw that Korea is going through the exact same thing. So we'll take a look at that. And how bad is the Chinese situation now? Prostitution is becoming immensely widespread. They're calling it a very innocuous rent-a-girlfriend service, but we all know what it is. So it's tragic, but it's happening. And we've seen this before. So especially with the fall of Venezuela, and folks have run across the border and gone to Colombia to sell themselves. And sex tourism is really big at the moment with this. It's a kind of youth moment called Passport Bros, and we'll take a look at that as well as a parallel. And Argentina is also going through the same thing. So yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, that's the, how long did that take? Like 15 minutes? Okay, the overview took 15 minutes. So ridiculous. So yeah, questions, comments before we get started? We can start with our poll. So please let us know where you think the S&P will go by next Thursday. Bullish, sideways, or bearish. So if you want to look on your screen now. Meanwhile, let me share our notes link with the folks that just joined. And let's see who joined us today. Oh, welcome, Alan. Welcome, Lord Tedders himself. And I think Ross was here, but he disappeared. All right, cool. All right, thank you for the votes, guys. Let me share the results. We got 83% saying bullish and 17% saying sideways. So good stuff. Let's take a look at the S&P and make sure Warren's not going bankrupt while he's busy talking. Okay, Warren's okay. Thank God. Okay. Hopefully this stays very boring and very flat, and we'll make some lunch money. All right, good stuff. All right. So fun meeting coming up. Let's see. I still need to respond to that email from Dennis. But yes, we're having a round robin of we're going to talk about top indicators for the SVOG leadership team, and folks will be sharing how they use that to trade in today's marketplace. And the official write-up is not finalized yet, but we'll have more to report by next week. Excellent. All right, so idiots of the week. This is always fun. And this is NFT art. So this was one of the top trending pieces of art that were supposedly so non-fungible that it's now become a clearance rack item at Walmart. So there was a lot of like gorillas type
Bored apes.
Yeah, apes type stuff. What's the band that used to make a lot of like alternative pop with this kind of imagery? I forgot. What's the song? This is like 8 years ago, 10 years ago. I can't remember. It's okay. But yeah, this is $7 now. It's hilarious. You can get your own NFT on a shirt now. Non-fashionable shirt. Good comments here. Good times. And this is kind of stupid. But yes, in furthering the Ukraine grift, I think we hinted about this maybe a week or two ago. The Miss Japan winner was this Ukrainian girl. And she speaks Japanese and blah, blah, blah. But apparently she's really adopted the Japanese ethos, and she's given up her crown because it's been revealed she had an affair with a married man who is also a judge for the pageant, I believe. And in reading a lot of threads about Japanese women, it seems like there really is a national pastime of cheating on your husband. and also turning him into a pure wallet. And like, have you ever heard about the like salaryman's allowance? Like, it's really sad and pathetic, but that's Japan for you. And I'm curious, Wani, since you've lived in Japan, if you have any comments about this, any reaction to this? And let me pull up the contest itself. Miss Japan 2024. Yeah, so here was like the finalists. Here we go. So here's a Ukrainian person, and that's, you know, to promote Ukrainian PR. And then here's the other Japanese winners in different categories. But yeah, who's the prettiest here? Let's see. Let's zoom in. Oh, it's not zooming. Wani, comments, anything?
I can't see.
Oh,
You gotta zoom in a little bit more.
okay. All right. So here's the Ukraine. Can I say biatch? Okay, biatch. Okay, yeah, but yeah, I think she's the prettiest.
Which one? Oh, she.
Looks like this girl looks prettier. I don't know.
She's Japanese.
Everyone else is ethnically Japanese except the BS winner. Yeah.
She Japanese or she's Ukrainian?
She's pure Ukrainian.
But why is she in this beauty contest?
Because someone made the call from above. Like they want to promote they want to keep Ukraine in the headlines since it's not working very well, and Zelensky wants more money to steal from, and Israel's gobbling up a lot of foreign aid funds at the moment. So yeah. But yeah, and then you might
They're all pretty.
They're all pretty. But yeah, yeah. But let's look at Japan.
The red dress is pretty.
She is this one in the back or this one?
Yeah, this one. Yeah.
Yeah. She has really just like
pretty.
Very striking.
I like the white one too. The one that you said earlier.
Yeah, she's pretty.
Yeah. She's pretty.
But
those two.
She looks more fun on a Friday night. Okay. All right. Let's look at Japan as a whole. EWJ, how is Japan trading? It is trading fairly well. We're seeing some net buying, and let's take a look at the analytics briefly. Very tiny market, as you can see. Is even worth attempting to trade? Not really. Oh my God, these are horrible monthlies. No liquidity. It's actually decent, but wow, that's gonna be tough. But yeah, Japan's doing well, unlike its big rival towards the west of Japan. All right, cool. So that's Japan for you. And let's go back. So
it's only taken 30 or 40 years to recover, though.
Yeah. I mean, technically, it's still a zombie nation, right? But yeah, they still won't write off the bad loans from the early 90s. But sure. Yeah. And
isn't the Japanese stock market has been on the downtrend since the 90s? It has not recovered since the 90s.
Yeah, but
right?
in the near term, it's been a little bit okay. So this is so here's the 20-year view or 5-year view. So overall, it hasn't really gone anywhere, but at least in the last year, it's been an improvement. It's definitely this curve definitely doesn't look like China, at least. And just as a comparison, let's see Korea, EWY. Oh, that's not a good, they're not having a good time. Okay, so it looks like Japan is outperforming Korea in the near term, at least. Okay, cool. At least with their stock market. All right, cool. More idiots of the week. Delta Airlines instruct employees to capitalize black and brown when referring to race and ethnicity, but white should be lowercase. What about Asians? Of course, we're only like 4.5% of the population, and we don't talk about that. All right, here's Delta Airlines. So more idiocy here. And yeah, so there actually looks like it's pretty range bound at the moment, very sideways. Let's go to the JETS ETF, which is the collective basket of domestic airlines. And it seems like they're kind of hitting a nice price ceiling here at the almost the 20 mark. So Yeah, not going anywhere. Let's see how the betting public is wagering their bets. Kind of even-ish. We forgot to look at Delta and with the analytics. People are buying more into Delta. Okay, well, hopefully they can figure out how to not be racist. But yes, idiot of the week. All right, cool. Let's go to our market overview. All right, good times. Let's start with the futures side of the S&P 500, and it is dead flat at the moment. Oh, thank God. Okay, cool. And let's go to the analytics and see how everyone's wagering their money. So yeah, we're seeing the usual amount of volume here, and we're seeing a put-call ratio of 2.23. That's a little bit on the aggressive side, a little more bearish than usual. This usually likes to sit at the 1.4 number, and people might not be convinced, or at least the smart money might not be convinced that this high water line can be held. And that's probably why the market's holding its breath, among other things. And this sizzle index number is still very broken. So we've only seen these figures in the 1 to 300,000 K volume anyway. So why this says it's trading at 4 times that, I don't know. We have to take that up with SVOG. All right, let's look at the big boy option contracts of SPX. And also flats, and it should be matching everything. And this is a fairly normal day. So fair value is also 1.3, 1.4, and we're right there. And also the sizzle index is also broken on this side. Now, if we go to SPY, which is the retail end of the S&P 500, we should see a little bit more optimism here. And we do. We see 1.077 index numbers, sorry, sizzle index numbers looks correct here. So we're seeing almost parity. So yeah, but definitely more optimism. This also likes to live at the 1.4 range, generally speaking. And if we pivot to the NASDAQ, I'd expect this also to be fairly optimistic. Let's take a look at the 5-day chart. Yeah, it's a little bit more optimistic than the S&P. And let's look at the sentiment today. 1.15. So yeah, fairly optimistic as well. This also lives at the 1.4, 1.5 range, generally speaking. Sizzle numbers do look correct. Let's go to the schizophrenic index, which is a Russell 2000. This loves to overreact to everything. And today is no exception. It's very optimistic in a typically very depressed index. And wow, put-call ratio is usually 2.3. And today is just explosively optimistic. That's incredible, especially when the S&P is dead flat. Why is this so happy? It's almost payday, I guess. But yeah, I guess the 2000 companies that make up the Russell is a little bit happier. So yeah, go small cap stocks. All right, and just for kicks, let's look at the diamonds, which represents the Dow Jones. And this is the kid that likes to eat glue in the corner and is also usually very optimistic. And today is no exception. All right, cool. And let's look at what VIX is. VIX probably is an anemic 12.97. I am really thrilled I did not go long VIX. And yeah, do not fight the Fed and everybody else. But yes, this is a very subdued value here. And it's trading well below its 200 and 500-day moving average here in the purple and magenta. So we'll just continue. We'll see. All right, cool. Also, let's look at some sentiment data from traders themselves. And this is from the American Association of Individual Investors. And we're seeing a lot more optimism for the survey ending yesterday. And it's about, 49%. The amount of bears have reduced to 22%. So yeah, we can probably expect some upside or a nice upside plateau. Cool. And let's check out our fear and greed index from CNN. And thank you, Fla, for today's short list for earnings. We'll take a look at that in just a bit. And yeah, we're seeing this number tick up higher. I believe it was 72 last week. And we just want to go to the stock price breadth figure and see where we are. Again, this is a look at the number of shares rising versus the number of shares that are falling. And looks like we're kind of in the middle. So we're at the neutral point. Okay, so yeah. Eventually this will go back to the fear side, so we'll be excited for that. All right. And almanac. Oh crap. Where is that? Where is almanac? Almanac. Almanac. Okay, almanac. My other almanac hardcover or hard copy version is in a box in a storage unit. So we'll have to make do with screenshots of older edition. Okay, cool. February. February is the weak link in the best 6 months. Recent record, S&P up 10, down 5, average change of 0.6 in the last 15 years. Fourth best NASDAQ month in midterm election years, average gain of 1%. Blah, 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 blah. Day before President's Day, S&P down 17 of 26 and 11 straight from 92 to 02. And day after, up 7 of the last 8. Many technicians modify market predictions based on January's market. Okay, so a little cryptic, but when is President's Day again? President's Day. 19th? Okay. Okay. So that's Monday. So I guess sort of historically the day after should be well. So if you go long on Friday into Tuesday, maybe you'll see a green uptick. We will pay attention to that. All right, cool. Let's delete January from here and let's pull up sector rotation. And if you guys want to throw in your individual favorite tickers, we'll take a look at that in just a second. Cool. So these are the 11 subsectors that make up the S&P 500 family. And we love looking at this just to see where everybody is at. And if you guys have individual tickers, we'll throw that in that just after. So yeah, these each chunk here is 1 week, and we're looking at a 5-week tail. So a long tail means a lot of action. So we're seeing a nice collapse in XLE. So that's a lot of energy and oil stuff. So let's go to the big charts and take a closer look at these bad boys. All right, so we do see it has been not very fun. So the sector hasn't been as high flying as last year summertime. And in terms of on-balance volume with net buying and selling, it has been in sell-off territory for quite a bit. And we're just back at the 0 line. So it's been out of favor. So a lot of money's been rotating out of this sector. Could that reverse? That's a great question. And let's go to the betting public. And betting public says, I don't know. Probably not. This looks pretty bearish, 1.14. Okay. Let's see. Can we find who's the holders? XLE. Okay. All right. Let's see. Top. Okay. Here's the weighting itself of the XLE. So it looks like a lot of Exxon, Chevron, ConocoPhillips, EOG, Phillips 66, Marathon Petroleum, Schallenberger, Pioneer Natural Resources, Valero, and Williams. I don't know who this is. Okay. All right, cool. Well, yeah, that's the weighting. And yeah, so oil, not having a good time. What other losers are there? Utility stocks and XLB. What is XLB? Materials. Okay. High flyers include real estate, financials, and technology here, XLK, and improving our communication stocks. Okay. So if we go to the table view and sort this, again, this is slightly stale data from Tuesday close, but yeah, high flyers include XLK, so NVIDIA here, of course, probably ARM and Palantir, which has done well. And again, losers here include energy stocks, materials, real estate, and XLU, the utility stuff. All right, cool. And individual tickers. Would anyone like to throw their favorites in here? Here's one of our saved lists from last time. We've got some crypto miners here and our favorite tech stocks and a lot of Chinese stuff. Let's see. Top loser is natural gas yet again. The famous Widowmaker. And we see Mara here, high flying, Coinbase, Nippon Steel, AMD, NVIDIA, and let's go to the table view. Yeah, so high flyers include, yeah, Palantir, of course, NVIDIA, AMD, the semiconductor ETF itself, SMH, Amazon, Ford, GM, Google. Oh, you know what's not pictured here? Meta. Let's throw in Meta. That should also be, yeah, that's number 3 now. So where is it? Meta. Right here. Yep. From weakening to leading. All right. Quite the reversal. Cool. Any other tickets you guys want to throw in here? I know what Alan's thinking. He wants to see airlines. Let's throw in airlines. Let's throw in we got some lots of haters for United, myself included, and let's throw in jets. And maybe we should look at whatchamacallit, solar stuff. So let's throw in some TAN, which is the collective basket for solar tickers. And what else is there? First Solar is pretty famous. Enphase just had earnings. That was fun. And let's see where they are. So here's Enphase. And where's everybody else? Here's TAN. Let's just go to table view. Where is so here's Jets, pretty flat. And where's TAN? TAN in the losing category. So okay, we're seeing money rotating out of solar. So that's still obvious. What else? Okay. Oh, NIO's really bad here. Been shorting that. That's been fun. Tesla not having a good time either. CWeb, of course. KWeb, all the Chinese stocks. Yep. FXI, China's large cap. Yeah. Baidu, of course. And where is Alibaba? Yep, Alibaba here as well. Okay, cool. Any other tickers you guys want to add in here? If not, we can revisit this if you guys have any other ideas. Okay, cool. Let's get out of here. Okay, lots of fun earnings. Let's see what's coming up for today. Affirm, Pinterest, Cloudflare, Expedia, Take-Two, Dexcom from San Diego, CleanSpark. This was in my bearish on balance volume scanner last week. Did do a position there. Billy, Boyd Gaming. We looked at this in 2020, if you guys remember. I don't recognize these smaller firms. Oh, that's a lot of stuff. Okay, that's a lot of tickers. Okay, well, that's too many. Okay, that's okay. We'll stick with the short list from flop. Cool. And let's
Warren, questions.
Yeah.
Question for you. For that earnings whisper, is there a way to know which one is pre-market, before market and after market?
Oh yeah,
When looking at
yeah. So you go to the calendar section and they
Okay.
list like the count. And then if you go to the
Right.
individual one, this is like after close for today. And then the next one is before open and then after close. So they break it down nicely.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, I see.
I mean, ideally for option traders, we need front vol included here. Is there a better service that does that, or do we still have to kind of manually punch that in and then do it in toss? I don't think anyone does it correctly yet. Warren, you could make a website that does that technically. Let me write that down. Front vol earnings website. There are some API calls to play with. Okay, that would be fun. And maybe like setting parameters like things that are penny tight versus things with some slippage. And you can kind of sort. So if you're more risky, you can do the non-penny tight stuff. That would be kind of cool. Let me add that too. Filter for penny tight or penny wide. Okay, cool. Good ideas. All right, let's take a look at Disney. Before we dig into the article, let's go to the charts. All right, here's Disney. Nice gap up post earnings, a little bit unexpected. Did you play this, Wani?
Yeah, I did. I already closed 100%.
Oh, excellent. All right,
Yep.
looking at momentum, it's we're in net buying territory since about the start of the year. Let's take a glance at the betting public, everyone is slightly mixed bag. I'd say that's mildly bullish, 0.413. Okay. Other useful analytics. We have a slight dividend here. We're very expensive at 68 PE, maybe overvalued. Okay, with that, let's go to the article. All right. So Disney disappointed top line numbers with 23.5 revenue, flat from a year ago, a quarter year ago. And let's see, subscribers also disappointed. And we have sports, entertainment, and experiences. And entertainment makes more money than experiences. Okay, good to know. I saw on 101 near the Brokaw side, there's a Disneyland billboard, and it's a lunar year theme. So it's targeting the Asian demographics. So interesting to note there. Wait, who just went to Disneyland that was telling me that it's all adults at the ride? Or do we talk about this as a group? I don't remember. Okay.
No, we have not. We
Okay,
have not.
so yeah, a friend or someone went, and yeah, they were shocked by the amount of adults and the lack of kids, and it was still packed. So yeah.
Wow. Why
Yeah.
is that? Why do adults go to Disneyland? You
Mm,
mean like young adults, right? The 20 some.
20s to 35-year-olds. Like I know lots of girls that do this.
Yeah, I know girls do. Girls
Yeah.
like to go to Disneyland.
And for diehard Disney fans, to me, that's like a red flag because it's very infantile.
That is so,
Yeah.
that is just so, I don't know what to even describe.
And for men that are Disneyland fanatics, like that's just dangerous to me. I'm just like,
Are,
you instantly
are the
cross.
men
Oh yeah, yeah.
really?
Especially like Star Wars bullshit and like Legoland, blah blah blah, or sorry, Mario Land dumb stuff. I'm just like, you're in pedophilia
sounds-
territory. So yeah,
That's
I'll be watching
ridiculous.
them.
That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah. All right, let's see the subscriber count. So subscriber count growth wasn't great. Let's see. Disneyland Plus revenue rose 15%, but it's still losing money. Oh wow, operating loss here. And massive layoffs. That's always fun. So massive layoffs sent the stock soaring to after-hour highs. Okay. And Disney will invest 1.5 billion into Fortnite. And let's see, they're gonna collaborate, blah, blah, blah. 1.5 billion equity stake. Fortnite is private, I believe, right? I am not, is it public?
Who
I
owns it?
I don't play computer games as much at all, really. So let's see. Epic Games. Looks like it's private. Okay. And this is headquartered in North Carolina. So let's see. They've developed Unreal, Gears of War, Infinity Blade, Fortnite. Yeah. So yeah, Fortnite is like a very kind of a fun dynamic shooter. I've never played it. It's a first-person shooter. I'm from the old school crowd that played like Counter-Strike, the original one back in the day. But yeah. Okay, cool. So that's Disney. We have a lot of articles to go through. Let's speed up a little bit, Warren. All right. So here as a whole, we're seeing less ESG mumble or lingo in earnings calls. So obviously, this is falling out of favor, among other things, and we should see a decline. So we've seen this chart before. Let's zoom in a little bit. So here's ESG as an aggregate and looking at fund flow. So we're seeing money rotate out of this sector. So yeah, let's see. Most key categories for them are climate action, affordable and clean energy, and industry innovation and infrastructure. And what did Flav find? Wall Street Bets most mentioned stocks. Most mentioned. Looks like there's some sentiment analysis here as well. Oh, this is like a cool.
Look, go on the bubbles. Go throw
Ooh.
mouse on the bubbles because it shows you.
Oh, the counts. Interesting.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and looks like they filtered out some of the false positives that swaggy
Yeah.
stocks.
It's
Yeah.
actual stocks.
Yeah, that's excellent. Let's do a side-by-side comparison. Maybe we found a replacement for swaggy stocks. Wow. Where'd you find this, Flaw?
Oh, it just came across. I'm like, that's a cool interface.
Excellent. Thank you. And Swaggy Stocks is not working. Let me drop
And
the link in the
maybe
chat.
the color is the stock performance today. I'm not sure yet what the color is.
Okay. Oh, here we go.
It actually has sentiment analysis on Swaggy.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So you might be like this at a glance is really easy to see who's negative and who's bullish. So yeah, I guess they're both different. But let's add this to our notes and we'll keep that in the template. So maybe we should rename this category. Most mentioned, or let's see, this is more like community talk. Most mentioned tickers. Yeah, something like that. I don't need a link. Why is there a link? Oh, I see what's happening. Okay, there we go. Okay, cool. Let's go back to this. This is cool. So NVIDIA, 322 mostly positive mentions. PayPal, mostly negative mentions. Excellent. And
then they have politician stuff.
Political flow. That's awesome.
Corporate lobbying.
Politicians, why are they trading stocks? This should be clearly illegal. Okay. Corporate lobbying. Oh my God. The grift is on. Netgear. Why is Netgear number 2? What? Okay. Smart money tracker. So this kind of parallels our sector rotation analytics. Wow, this is incredible. You can see it sector by sector. Wow, that's excellent. And you get figures. Wow. Okay, this is badass. Holy cow. This is bookmark worthy. All right. All right, cool. Awesome. Thanks, Flav. This is kick ass. Wow. Okay, and they have some other fun stuff, I'm sure. Okay, but yeah, this is just the insider module. Wow, amazing. All right. Ooh, that's really fun. Okay. Cool. Back to earnings. Let's look at oil stuff. We did talk about the XLE, but let's take a look at specifics. And we know that Exxon is the #1 titan of that sector. So yes, they report the second biggest annual profits in the past decade. And let's also take a look at the Strategic Petroleum Reserve after this. All right, so OPEC and Saudi Arabia has been hurting due to the flood of oil by U.S. companies. U.S. super majors increased output sharply in their own backyard. And let's take a look at this infographic. All right, so we're seeing from Exxon, 36 billion in earnings, 55 billion in cash flow from earnings, structural savings, interesting, share repurchases, dividends, total shareholder return. That's incredible. Okay, price to margin, what, 17.9? I don't know how to interpret this. I feel so out of my element when I look at financial stuff now. It's just, we haven't done it in a while. Okay. And let's see. Here's the summary. Let me zoom out. Strong results continuing to support capital allocation priorities. So let's see. Q4, yada, yada, increase of dividend. That's always happy for investors. And continued exploration. So that's always helpful. Accelerated Permian and Guyana activity, new lithium business. Where is Permia? Permian? Permian.
And I think it's Texas.
Permian.
Texas, New Mexico, something like that.
Okay, let's look at Exxon. Permian, Exxon. There we go. Permian Basin. Where the hell is the Permian? Permian.
As Larry said, that one in oil is in Texas.
Okay. Wow. Cool. Western Texas. Okay. That's a useless image. Okay. Western Texas. Okay. Is this near San Antonio? Maybe. Okay, that's cool. And there's dinosaurs here. Okay. All right. Oh, back to article. Okay, cool. Key takeaways. Exxon is well ahead of its plan to double earnings per share from 2019 to 2027. And executives are concerned about fourth quarter capital spending. They need a front load spending for Guyana and Permian, the Permian Basin, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so yeah, let's go back to the chart. Do we think this will continue to do well? I don't know. It's dancing at its 200-day moving average here. And still in sell-off territory. So still kind of unpopular despite its money-making potential. Okay. Yeah, a 3.6% dividend and trading reasonably for price to earnings. Okay, wow. Okay, cool. All right. That's Exxon for you guys. Does anyone own long stock for Exxon or Chevron? Has that been fun for the last couple of years?
I don't know. I got it in my IRA. I got it 40 years ago when I worked at Zilog.
What's Zilog?
Zilog made microprocessors.
How do you spell that?
Zilog. I don't think they're public anymore.
Oh, okay, cool.
At that time, it was owned by Exxon. Exxon in the microprocessor business.
Wow, really?
Yeah. It was very difficult.
Wait, that's the
I'll
era.
tell you the story. One of the top executives said, "Look, you guys, your revenues don't amount to the seepage we have through the seams of the oil tankers."
That's awesome. That's epic. Wow. I didn't know that they tried to break into personal computing. So they want to compete with like Xerox and HP
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Wow, what an era. So this is what, 80s?
They also made fax machines and something else. It was a total loot. You can't have oil guys managing high tech. It doesn't work.
Oh, that makes so much sense. Like
Larry,
what's
it's the same thing with cash register guys trying to manage high performance computing at Fujitsu.
cash register, guys? Is there a name for that?
If you ever go to Fujitsu basically has like a whole division that has cash registers and ATMs.
Oh,
Mhm.
point of sale, POS stuff.
Yeah,
ATM.
POS machines.
Okay.
So
Smart POS.
because of the fact that they're the biggest, they're the oldest entity, as well as the fact that that's the majority of the market. They got given the whole high performance computing market from Fujitsu. And before I left the valley, I was actually interviewing about bringing their labs up, and you saw how quickly that failed.
Wow. Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, they have the cash register guys trying to do high performance computing. It's not going to work.
Wow. Okay.
That used to be Amdahl, right?
I believe
Yeah.
so. I'm not certain.
Amdol.
AMDOL.
Amdol. Amdol.
AHL.
EH, yeah.
And
There you go, Larry. Thanks, man.
Amdol.
EAHL.
EHHL. EHL.
Yeah.
Amdol.
A alpha
Okay.
instead of echo, alpha, and D AHL.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Amdol. Oh,
If-
okay. Yeah, yeah. Oh, wow. Sunnyvale. Yeah. Okay. 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 Wow. Fascinating. I'll drop this link in the chat. Okay. Cool. Wow. Okay. Cool, guys. So that's Exxon for you. Interesting. Let's take a look at Apple. And as we predicted, Apple relies on China sales quite a bit, similar to Tesla. And with China imploding, it's not good for business. So let's take a look at the numbers. Let's see. So iPhone revenue is most of everything. So that's like 50% of revenue. They did beat year-over-year growth targets, but iPad 25% decrease year-over-year. Mac revenue pretty flat. Missed. Here's a wearable. So we'll see the new goggles. Let's see if there's a lead time. Oh, here we go, right in the front. Let's see what the delivery is like. So running for 3,500. I was reading some reports and reviews. So the problem with this, like a lot of people complain that the focal point is, I mean, it is difficult because it doesn't move and it really strains your eyes after like 10 minutes. And people aren't thrilled about that part. Let's see. Oh, you have to measure your head. Oh, okay, we can skip that. But yeah, looks like there's some customization, storage options, 256 gig to 1 terabyte. So scales accordingly. And you can finance this. Okay. So you get a battery pack, light seal, polishing cloth, charger. Okay. Okay, cool. Interesting. If anyone gets one, let me know. Back to our article. We got services, not missing targets, greater China revenue, down 13% year over year. Holy cow. Okay. And here's Apple iPhone revenue. Okay. Let's pull up the chart. How is Apple doing? How is Apple doing? Okay, bullish today at least. People are buying the dip. And let's see. It's dancing with its 200-day moving average here. Tested, broke through, but bounced back. And from a net momentum perspective, it's below the zero line. So very faint net selling overall. So people aren't thrilled and holding their breath. Okay. And let's see. Yeah, year over year revenue change. Improvement, but a couple down quarters are a little scary. Okay. Apple by region. Oh, this is fun. All right, Apple sales. Asia or China, Greater China in yellow. It's this chunk here. So it has been bigger a couple times in the past, but yeah, America is still Big Daddy. Europe is bigger than China. Japan is in the red, in the low parts here, and the rest of Asia is blue. That's incredible. Blue is the APAC region is massive. Wait, APAC is bigger than Americas? Wait, the blue of Americas and APAC is almost the same color. What retard did this? Oh, it's on the front bar. Okay, here's APAC. Okay. So it's like Singapore, Thailand, Indonesia is blah, blah, blah. Okay. They could have picked a better color, but okay. All right, cool. Year over year change, and China's the #1 loser. Japan's growing, and this lends credence to EWJ, which we looked at earlier of Japan doing fairly well. I'm surprised they don't segregate South Korea, or maybe that segment hasn't become significant enough. Okay, cool. All right, let's look at Amazon. Let's see, they beat estimates. AWS profit impresses, guides higher. All right. Yep, everyone and their mom is hosting stuff on AWS. Yay, wonderful. Okay. Let's see, bottom line. Company beat expectations, both revenue and operating income. Amazon Web Services, the company's profit driver, posted revenue in line with analyst estimates, but investors are likely to be heartened by much higher than expected operating income from the cloud division. Okay. So we're seeing nice uptrends here. Oh, this is fun. Amazon operating margin by segment. Okay, so let's fast forward to the recent era. Okay. And let's see, Q4 2024, North America 6.6% growth, and AWS 29% growth. Wow, just AWS just every year, at least 20% growth. Wow, that's incredible. And internationally, not growing so much in the last 2 years. Okay. So very North America centric. Okay, no surprises there. Amazon profit margin at 7.8% as a whole. Wow. And percentage revenue growth has slowed down, but yeah. Let's go to the charts. Where are we? Okay, we're well above the 200 and 500-day moving average. We're maintaining the gap up. We're seeing strong inflows of buying since the last 2 weeks. Hasn't been great before that, though. Lots of sideways action. Let's go to the betting public. We're seeing a fairly bullish activity today, at least. Okay. All right, cool. Anything else useful here? Amazon is testing a generative AI shopping assistant named Rufus. Trained on Amazon product catalog with a small group of customers on its mobile app. Well, this is why I don't have the mobile app, because I'll spend money. So that's dangerous. Okay, cool. Cool. We looked at Swaggy and Trading Terminal. But let's take a look one more time really quick. What's the top considerations for the millennial and Gen Z trading crowd? This might take a second to load. All right, NVIDIA, ARM, PayPal. What's day? Palantir, Disney, Tesla, Affirm, Supermicro, Pinterest, Apple, Cloudflare, NASDAQ, Alibaba, False Positive, Mara, TSM, Snapchat, Meta, Ellie here, AMD, New York Community Bancorp, Amazon, False Positive, and Wendy's. Wendy's. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. Thanks again, Flaw, for finding the most mentioned bit. That's cool. All right, now to fun econ news. I'll have to paste back the Black Swan list from last week. But yes, credit card debts. All right. This is not calculated as part of the official money supply, but monetary historians like Mike Maloney believe it should be. So whenever he presents this data, he usually includes M1 slash M2 with revolving credit, because this type of currency is created the moment you sign on a dotted line with your credit card or a mortgage application gets approved. So it's credit that's created through consumption. So a little different from M1 and M2, but it still should be calculated because it's a fairly significant component of overall spending and definitely part of like money velocity. All right. So let's look at the numbers. Non-revolving credit monthly change. So it was a disastrous quarter. Let's see, this must have been early summer last year. And here we are right now. Okay. Definitely not in a growth trend, at least. Seeing constriction. Okay, student car loans. Ah, wonderful. The $1,000 payment club. All right, student car loans in the billions. Wow. So student loans in blue and car loans in red. Wow. No wonder Biden wants to do student loan forgiveness to target the younger voting crowd. That's a lot of money. And then car loans. Okay. And financing rates are insane. So yeah. Commercial bank rates, all credit card accounts here as a percentage. Let's zoom in a little bit. We're seeing numbers tick up from, looks like the average is about 15% to now about 22-ish. Yeah, wow, that's painful. And personal savings rate, pre and post revisions. It's looks disastrous. Wow, that looks painful. Let's see. Red is post November 23's revision. September revision, May revision. Okay. We were better right after COVID. People were saving their money. So April 2020. So yeah. And then peaked again in April 21. Was this the lockdowns? I don't remember what was happening that time, but yeah. Okay. All right, cool. Good to know. Let's look at Jerome Powell. Will we see a rate cut in March? I believe the latest figure was fallen from 80% to 19%. Yeah, okay. Powell suggests rate cuts may not come as fast as bond investors would like. Okay. Here's rate cut probabilities. And yes, the overall real economy shows a weaker picture. It's amazing how clueless the Fed is. But yeah. Okay. Federal Reserve, blah, blah, blah. Either way, small businesses and families are most affected. Really? Yeah, don't say. Okay. Thanks, Jerome Powell, for nothing. There's some redundant articles. We'll skip that. It's a little bit out of time. All right, cool. And then option traders might be making it easier to get a bank loan. Yay, we can trade more and sell more volatility. All right, let's take a look at this. Higher bank loan growth is on the way as loan standards ease. And let's see, net percentage of tightening standards for, what is CNI? CNI loans. CNI, what's that stand for? CNI loans. Commercial and industrial. Okay, excellent. So net percentage of tightening standards for CNI loans. Higher loan growth on the way as loan standards ease. Isn't this number pointing upwards? Isn't that conversely against the title of this diagram? Okay, I'm not sure what's happening here, but yeah. Higher vol selling on index means that when the market darlings that everyone wants to own or has not to own trailing index rise, other stocks to fall. The vol selling pins the index. Okay. Let's see. Tighter credit spreads signal banks for spread signal for banks on lending standards. So we got black for high yield credit spread and net percentage of banks tightening CNI loan standards. Okay, this diagram looks correct. So as loan requirements drop and capital becomes cheaper, they're anticipating more trading. Okay. Okay. That article wasn't as meaty as I thought. Okay, all good. No surprises here. IRS is boosting enforcement workforce by 40% by year-end 2024. So good luck dodging taxes with Venmo and whatnot and PayPal. That $600 threshold is gonna ruin my life as a DJ. Okay. Oh, and what did Ed post here? Regional bank stocks in trouble yet again. Definitely fun macro stuff. New York Bancorp here, or sorry, Community Bancorp was grabbing headlines yesterday, of course. U.S. crisis goes global as Aozora Bank is facing problems. And NYCB is extending losses. Western Alliance is getting clubbed like a baby seal. Wow, that's a visual.
Yes, some of these banks, regional banks, were the ones that picked up the failed banks from
Yeah.
last year, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
I know this isn't brand new, fresh, but just something that could signal warning signs on the horizon, maybe even affect what the Fed does next.
Excellent point, sir. And looking at the analytics, we are in definite good company here. We're seeing 340% more bearish bets than bullish. And that's just New York Bancorp. So maybe Warren should short this after the call again. And let's look at KRE. This is the overall regional sector, also bearish as a whole. And let's look at the weighting. So let's see. That article talked about Western Alliance. So we can take a look at that. And where is New York Community Bancorp? It's ranked 13. So if New York Bancorp is having problems, then everyone else will have problems too eventually. And the contagion will be too obvious to ignore. So let's look at Western Alliance, WAL.
And this is around the same time that I believe the Fed has at least mentioned that they're going to be halting the BFFP or whatever, buy the fucking dip is what I call it, program from last year. So that's putting additional pressure, I think, on these regional banks.
Yeah.
And for
Fascinating.
those who don't recall, that basically allowed these banks that were holding US treasuries that were deeply underwater, instead of holding them mark to market like the rest of us plebs, they're allowed to hold them on their account basically at final bond value, right? So, but that assumes effectively, I mean, that would be great. I would love to be able to hold things like, imagine being able to do short options at final value, but no, that's not the way the real world works. So
No, great article. And we have a nice cascade of losers here in case you want some trading ideas. We looked at Western Alliance. Let's look at Zion's Bancorp. What is Zion's Bancorp? All right. Okay, let's see. It's okay at the moment. Okay, maybe this is a little bit more insulated. Okay. Okay. But yeah, we'll keep our eye out on KRE. Okay. Good stuff. Thank you, sir. Okay. Cool. That's the IRS screwing us over. US diesel supply tightens as manufacturing comes roaring back. A little too late, but let's take a look. What's the figure look like? Wait, there's no numbers? I thought this had numbers. Manufacturers improved to 49.1 from 47.1 according to the index. Okay. Oh, okay, forget this. Let's look at the Strategic Petroleum Reserve inventory data. Let's see what this looks like. All right, here's the 5-year chart. All right. I recall this was 340-ish. Okay, we're at 358. So we're improving at least, but not really making headway at all. Okay, so that's the count. Yeah, hovering 350-ish for a long time. Okay. Got it. All right, US banks see massive deposit flight, biggest since Silicon Valley Bank, as Fed ends, pie to fucking dip, ARB. Yes. All right. So let's see, all money market funds here. Rate of change. Okay, slowing down. Not exactly a bullish sign for stocks, of course. Let's see. Institutional funds saw a large $33 billion inflow, and retail sales saw yet another inflow. Okay. Balance sheet contracted by 47.2 billion for the Fed. And let's see. Fresh crypto is about to end it on time in March. Exactly what Ed said. Let's see. Reverse repo facility saw more liquidity drawn down, testing to $500 billion left. And then US market cap remains decoupled from the shrinking reserves at the Fed, yet once again. This could flip the other way quite easily, I imagine. Let's see. Total deposits plunged by a stunning $168 billion, the biggest weekly drop since the SVB crisis. So this is starting in the commercial banking sector, and yeah, nothing says confidence like withdrawing your money. All right, cool. Yeah, I guess that's the key takeaway. All right, cool, excellent. We gotta go forward faster here. Here's Aozora Bank, and let's see how this is going to be a global nightmare. Japan funds have been buying foreign assets in the past decade. Foreign bonds versus foreign equities. Okay. And let's take a look at Aozora. Sorry, Aozora Bank stock. Do we have exposure here? Okay, let's just look at the Japanese index side. All right, so massive gap down. They went from 3,000 to 2,183. So that's what? 1/3 haircut? And Genius Yahoo Finance says a neutral pattern detected. Oh, sweet Jesus. If you wait for these guys to say bearish, you think he might be wiped out. So if we zoom out a little bit, yeah, that is a serious collapse. Wow, ouch. So yeah, not fun to be in that bank. All right. Okay, and let's see. Institutions sold stocks at a record pace as S&P hits all-time high. So let's see. Here we have the S&P's weekly change. And let's see. In the last week of January, institutional investors pulled out of U.S. stocks at a record-breaking pace, signaling the top may be in for the market for the near future. Got it. And according to this latest publication from B of A, it is the second largest selling outflow in data history since 2008 and the largest since 2015. That sounds really bullish. All right. And then here's rolling 4-week average for clients by type. Yeah, hedge funds unloading like crazy. Okay. So who's picking up the bag then? If the smart money's selling, I guess it's the retail folks. I guess all of our neighbors buying NVIDIA stock. All right. Okay, good times. All right. Oh, this is fun. Best and worst performing assets of January 2024. All right, let's go to the charts. I mean the table, pardon me, or the diagram. All right, let's zoom in a little bit. Figure 1, return for major financial assets in January. All right, so we got the Nikkei, Brent, US, Western Texas oil, Greece, Russia. That's difficult. What's the CRB again? Here's the S&P 500. All right, losers include the Hang Seng Index. This is Hong Kong, Shanghai. Hey, Portugal. Where's BOSPA? What is this? MSCI, EM equities. The Japanese USD trade. I totally called this too. I need to learn how to trade Forex. All right. Silver. Yeah, that's been depressing. What's gilt? The euro, gold. Yeah, okay. And then in the middle is copper. All right. Dr. Copper is prognosticating nothing. But yeah, it's flat. All right. And then here's major returns for global financial assets. Wait, how's this different from figure 1? Returns for matrical in local currency. Oh, this is in USD. Okay. So if we scale everything to USD, then yeah, it's still Hong Kong and Shanghai and Portugal are the top losers. Okay, excellent. And the Japanese yen is still crashing. Excellent. Okay, cool. And oil's doing well. And since we looked at the Exxon data, no surprises there. Okay, excellent. Good chart or table. All right, cool. So in case you want to short China, they're still sucking in January. All right, awesome. And where are we on the emoji guide to investing? I guess we're at all-time high. I guess we'd be up here. You know, this part maybe. All right, cool. Let's get to fun crypto news. All right, Ether hitting 4,000 potentially by May when the Ethereum ETF is approved. Ed, maybe you know more about this than most of us. If you've seen any good intel.
And the last thing that I've heard is that the SEC has still been denying ETH. I know after the Bitcoin ETFs were released, I forget which one of the shitcoin casino groups decided to put that in there, but they've thus far been shot down. So we'll see. I mean, maybe the SEC gets sued again. Although I rather suspect that that may die out.
Got it.
This cycle, we're seeing just a lot. I mean, take a look at the Bitcoin to ETF chart in TraderView. Basically, anytime, you know, I don't know that there's another. We'll see. There might be another cycle, but basically, yeah. So it's BTC, ETH, right? So let me pull that up myself. Yeah, so like especially in the last year or so since ETH has gone from proof of work to proof of stake, Yeah, it's my viewpoint, and I think many others, that we may not see another ETH cycle. There's a lot of problems. I mean, I don't know that anybody takes a look at it, but it's like super complicated things tend to break, and Ethereum is like, you know, a Rube Goldberg machine. So anyhow, that's sort of my take on it. I am biased, but that's my thoughts.
Oh, excellent.
I am pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that ETH ETF will also be approved. I am very certain about that because ETH is also a major play in the crypto market. So that's just BTC and Ethereum. Those are the two big players. So if they approve BTC, they for sure have to approve ETH.
I mean, the
I'm
only
already-
issue with
yeah.
that is I think if the SEC, which they already have, and they've already flat out stated that all the other altcoins are unregistered
That's
securities, and you know, Gary Gensler has vacillated back and forth, but I think his take is that ETH is also an unregistered security, primarily sponsored and pre-mined by
right.
you know, JP Morgan. So one thing I will say is, you know, Jamie is still quite powerful, so he might push some things through. We'll see.
Yeah.
You know, Warren, Senator Warren is still on the warpath with crypto suppression 2.0 though, and she's against everything. So you know, who knows?
Pocahontas?
Yeah, Pocahontas, right? Yeah.
But
So
I think
Thought it was
people
Pocahontas.
like, yeah, I think
FAUX.
BlackRock, JP, Fidelity, they have a lot of power to push it through. So I'm pretty sure that ETF will also come through.
we'll see. I mean, I think it really
Yeah.
comes down to what you know, what goes through. What's interesting is, you know, a number of players, particularly, you know, with, it kind of depends on who wins in the Bitcoin ETF game. You've got BlackRock, and you've got
Fidelity.
Fidelity, and you've got ARK, and then
Right.
Bitwise, and a number of others, and who
And
you know, who sort of
Grayscale.
wins.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Why is Grayscale the top loser though?
Yeah, so
Because
Grayscale
the fees.
outflows. Well, yeah,
The
so
fees.
Grayscale was the first one to have that closed fund or whatever, and
Right.
basically everybody is trying to get the
trust.
hell out of there because their
Right.
fees
Oh,
are like 2.5 or 2% or whatever it is per year.
that's insane.
Yeah,
What?
and they've
Right.
kept those fees even though like ARK and a bunch of others are like 0.21 or even less, right? So yeah,
Right.
basically everyone's dumping out of that. I just posted a link though that shows sort of the total net flows of the ETFs versus the current mined supply, and also where we're going into the halving. So if you look at that graphic, it kind of really shows, you know, there's Grayscale, there's the outflows out of Grayscale, and they're currently the largest holder. They had 650,000 Bitcoin prior to the ETF launch. Now they're down, obviously. But it's notable that basically in the last, you know, whatever it's been, month or so, the inflows to the 9 other ETFs have surpassed the accumulation of MicroStrategy. So it's over 200,000 Bitcoin. I think this graphic's a little old. I think that's through end of January. So they are gobbling up supply at a rapid pace. And then sort of the latest news that I just saw come in this week that I thought was interesting was Fidelity is like super based. They have started, your grandpa will be in Bitcoin. Their most conservative classic allocation now includes a 1% allocation to the Bitcoin ETF, for example. So even grandma and grandpa are going to be having their Bitcoin. And
Right.
obviously this is, you know, their most conservative. The other ones have more Bitcoin. So anyhow, that's sort of the news, I would say, this week in terms of Bitcoin stuff. Those are the major things. That, and of course, fake Toshi is getting absolutely destroyed in court. Hopefully, that'll be the end of BSV and all of their nonsense. Yeah, Craig Wright, fake Toshi.
I'm unfamiliar.
Basically the guy who still claims that he is
He's,
Satoshi and has
Toshi.
what he's been doing this week. It's been interesting. The testimony has effectively been him saying that there's all of these like forgeries that he's done effectively, and he's basically saying that both his what do you call it, experts plus the other experts are all wrong when it comes to this guy is just a real like shitcoin master, like piece of work, and such an egotistical piece of shit. So he like
is.
sued a bunch of Bitcoiners for libel essentially, and yeah, he is just a master shitcoiner. So there's still a lot of the shit that is out there. I'm glad FTX blew up and a lot of these other things, but there's still some shit that still needs to be purged out of the system, and he's right up at the top of the list. And it sounds like the courts will probably be handing him an ass whooping later this week. Yeah. If you read like what he says about himself, it's like so bonkers. The dude is absolutely fucking out there. And anyway, that's way off the topic.
And he's from Australia.
Yeah,
He's
sort of the
Australian
short
guy.
news, most important news, like I said, is like I think most people are still dramatically underestimating what the ETFs mean for the Bitcoin space, and that will continue. We'll see, if we get some of these other shit coins on ETF, but I think the reality is there's more and more word out on the street that like the rest of this is unregistered securities. There might be some cute corner case, but maybe they should register their stock with the SEC. Oh yeah, good point. Monero was delisted from what do you call it? What's that other exchange with?
Coinbase?
No, not
Coinbase?
Coinbase. With Binance this week, because Binance doesn't have the money. Basically, CZ is another one of these master shitcoiners as well, and we haven't completely purged him out of the system yet, but he's been kind of forced offshore, and so that was some other interesting news this week as well.
So he's a criminal from Australia, basically.
Yep.
The classic British penal colony. Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
Yeah. There's a lot of drama in Bitcoin Twitter, so
okay. Hilarious.
I don't know that it matters for anybody.
Okay. Wow. Drama. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. But I think there's a number of factors, I don't know that anyone necessarily here would trade these things, but like there's a number of macro and non-macro, I would say larger macro picture and then Bitcoin specific picture things that set up a very interesting case, I think, for the next several months. With you've got all these ETFs rushing in, eventually people will stop selling out of Grayscale, I think, as they've converted, and we're seeing, net buying on the margin effectively with those. You've got the halving, which halves the supply of Bitcoin coming up in April here. And then you've got all of these potential bank failures that lead to print more money. I mean, I think, that's not too shocking. So anyhow, it's kind of an interesting case. I think right now it's pretty boring. We haven't really moved anywhere, I guess. But, the macro picture for it sets up very interesting, I think, in the next 6 months or so.
Excellent.
Hey Ed, are you buying any of the ETFs?
No, I don't hold any of the ETFs.
Okay.
I actually might at some point. I really like what Bitwise is doing. They are doing something which actually, I think it actually makes a case for why I or someone like me would hold an ETF. They are donating 10% of their profits to Bitcoin core developers without any restrictions. It's basically like,
oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there are really only about 5 or 6 developers working on Bitcoin Core at any one time. And funding is always an issue, and especially transparent and non-manipulative bullshit funding. So that is something that I am looking at Bitwise and kind of looking at their sort of mission statement, and I might allocate some to that. Mostly I hold my shit non-KYC in cold storage, as you should. But, I
Right.
think there's a case to be made for some of these other, like particularly mission-driven ETFs. I also thought there was some interesting news from MSTR, MicroStrategy this week. Not only of course, are they buying more Bitcoin, but they have announced basically a pivot in their software development business to be more Bitcoin and Lightning focused. So I'm really curious to see what comes out of that news. I think there's a long term. I do hold some of my stack, especially if one needs to hold it through a Roth IRA or something like that. MSTR, I think, is a great alternative to the ETFs. That's sort of been the original ETF as far as I'm concerned. It's leveraged Bitcoin, which is a bit dangerous. So you have to decide, do you think they're smart enough to manage the risk? Do you think Michael Saylor's smart enough to manage the risk? So far, he has, and survived a really rough bear market, which I think a lot of people had some questions about. So it'd be interesting, but I think their software pivot is an interesting play as well.
How does MicroStrategy leverage the BTC holding?
Yeah, so
In
there's a whole
futures
discussion.
and
No. There's a whole discussion that they have had with their board and what Michael talks about. So they do it in a few different ways. One is they will, when it's advantageous price-wise, they will, what do you call it? Like dilute the shares and buy Bitcoin. So that's one strategy. They have also taken on long-term debt. They're not doing that right now, but they've taken on debt at low interest rates through the bond market. But these are 5 or 6 year bonds to buy Bitcoin and just put it on the balance sheet. So essentially, the primary way that they hold it is they hold Bitcoin. They were the first major publicly traded company to hold Bitcoin on their balance sheet as their treasury asset. Most companies, like including my small company that I work for, they hold things like cash and cash equivalents, which often includes like bonds, right? Treasury bonds and things like that. So they were the first company to say, no, we're going to hold Bitcoin because holding bonds long term is fucking stupid, which I agree with. However, you got to be able to swallow the volatility, and they've been able to do that. They also allocate, all of their net profits basically go into buying Bitcoin. So there's a lot of ways that they access and hold it. Anyway, you can look up. Michael Saylor talks about this a lot, about the different ways that
I
they
listen
do
to him
that.
a lot.
Yep.
I do. The only thing I don't like about MicroStrategy is the liquidity. So
It's volatile. I mean, imagine, Bitcoin is an extremely volatile asset. And then if you're a company that is holding Bitcoin on your balance sheet, leveraged long, you got to accept there's some, if you don't like the beta, and a lot of traders, especially, well, I think most traders like beta, a lot of investors get scared of beta, but if the beta is to the upside, then it might be worth considering, right? And that's really sort of the corner case. I think that's where a lot of investors have gotten fooled in recent years, is they think if I can just make 5% a year and have zero variance, then I'm set, right? That's kind of like the goal of like pension funds. The problem with that is, as we all know, when real inflation is eating your asshole at 8% or more per year, depending on how you value things, this is a net losing play. You are constantly losing purchasing power over time. And I think most people are just totally ignorant of that fact. I mean, anyway.
This is absolutely true.
Absolutely true. Anyway, I absolutely agree. There's risks. So, it's not, it's a much smaller portion of the way that I allocate assets, but I think there's it's an interesting case to be made there.
Yeah. I've been starting to buy into the BlackRock. I already have Bitwise a few years ago when they came out.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
sold
no,
all my
and I see there's no,
GBTC.
BlackRock is the likely winner, right? In terms
Yeah,
of how these
it
things
will
work,
be.
for sure. It's just when you speak from a mission, they came on, I had heard there was a story that basically one of the more junior analysts basically orange pilled Larry Fink. So that's kind of cool. But at the same time, they kind of came late to the party and they were a big part of the ESG noise attack vector on Bitcoin in the last couple of years. And so, like, for
Wow.
me, it's like, I'll go back to what recently Jack Mallers of Strike said, right? When someone asked him about the risks of Bitcoin versus other things and whatnot, he's like, Bitcoin is an opt out from, if you don't appreciate the war in Ukraine, if you don't like unvoted for wars and you don't want your money going to that, then opt out and get on a Bitcoin standard because they can't print away your purchasing power and use the difference to send it to Zelensky or anyone else. And so, a lot of the stuff that I'm looking at these days is not just buying things because number go up. That's a factor, but also what the fuck are these people doing? What do they represent? What is their moral character? And if it's good, then I'm going to look at it. And if it's shit, then I'm not. And I know it's a bit of a controversial take probably in the trading world where everything is just like, fuck it, I'm getting mine. I don't care what we know they're all doing shady as shit things, right? I mean, I'm on board with that. But I do think there are some corner cases here where we're starting to find people of character starting to operate in the markets. And that's a good thing, in my opinion.
Yep.
Anyway, rant over.
No, that's awesome. Oh, and welcome, Ross. I think we saw you earlier in the day. Let me paste the notes for you, Ross. Awesome. Yeah, and thanks for being here, Ed. Lots of crypto news, and I'm definitely not the go-to crypto guy for that. So I'm really happy you chimed in. Well, excelente. Let's get started with our monster laundry list of domestic news. I want to fly through this. So, as you guys know, Pineapple Express storm is happening, and poor LA is going to get flooded, and no one down there knows how to drive in the rain, so it's going to be a disaster. And I'm sure car premiums will go up in Southern California as we speak. And let's see, CPI food index for levels versus home versus away. Oh, wow, this is interesting. We'll talk about McDonald's and fast food price raises in just a bit. So look at this gap. Yeah, let's see. CPI price food index. So yeah, if you're eating out is a figure of 362 versus 305 at home. Okay. Yeah. Sounds about right. All right. We'll skip this. Let's talk demographics. What states are losing and gaining. So this is always fun to see. And this is one of the key factors for property values. It's definitely jobs first, but demographics is also important. So inflow versus outflow. So let's see. The darkest are net gains. So we got Texas, Florida. What is this? Is this Tennessee? I'm not. Does anyone know which state this is?
South Carolina.
South Carolina. Okay, got it. Got it. And then let's see, rank 2 would be darker blue. So Idaho, Utah, Oklahoma. Who is this? Arkansas?
Yep.
Okay. And then this is Mississippi, and then Rob Walker's places, Dakotas, and this is Montana, I believe, right? Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Awesome. So good to know that. And as we mentioned earlier, let's look at our reverse Oregon Trail watch list. We haven't talked about these guys in quite a bit. This was a big deal in 2020. If I can, okay, reverse Oregon Trail. All right. So Lots of storage units, and I like to look at just basically public storage and U-Haul. Those are the big daddies here. So let's look at U-Haul. Okay, so we did have a big spike up, all-time high or yearly high at least, back at the New Year's Eve, basically. And now we're kind of gapping down from bad earnings. Wait, they had earnings? How did I miss this? This was not on my watch list yesterday. Oh, bummer. All good. Okay, so that's that. Let's look at the betting public. Down 5%. Okay. Oh, it's thinly traded too. Okay, this will not have been good to trade anyway. Okay. Let's look at PSA, which is public storage. Fairly big player as well in the storage unit game. And looks like the curve is very similar to U-Haul as well. Okay, we'll keep an eye on this. Okay, so the reverse Oregon Trail watch list is not as simple to trade at the moment, but good to know. All right. We'll skip this, so we're running out of time. But yeah, wind and solar production is not very sustainable nor affordable. So at some point, we do have to scale towards nuclear reactors and whatnot. All right, let's talk Super Bowl. So we got the Chiefs versus the Niners. And what are the odds? Let me see. Chiefs versus Niners Super Bowl odds. I wonder who's the favorite to win. I have no idea. I just know that like was it Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are inorganically being pushed and shoved into the limelight, which is disturbing. Okay, so I don't do any sports betting, so I don't even know how to read this. But does this mean the Niners are favorite? They're the favorite to win?
Well, yes, by the odds makers.
Okay.
And
Okay.
it's about money, right? I mean, the 49er bettors put more money on the Niners. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, though.
Got it. Got it. Okay. I don't know what a spread or over under is. Okay, all good. But yeah, this should be fun. Okay. Cool. Let's see. So Super Bowl spending is still in a rut. Let's see. Nominal spending is figured to 86.04. And historically, yeah, it's definitely off from its peak in 16 and 2020. Let's see. Most folks are planning to watch the game, as many as only once before. Okay. Okay. All right. Oh, this is fun. All right. New York, illegal alien compounds. There's some fun pictures here. Stabbings, deaths, drugs. All right. So this doesn't look hygienic or safe or well insulated, but sure, this is how folks are there, you know, in February, and it looks like a budget per head is $500 per person for a bunk bed on the floor. That's ridiculous. And let's see. Call to prayer 5 times a day here. Max population 2,000, and it's mostly comprised from family units from South America. Got it. Scary stuff out there. And I believe Logan Airport in Boston is still having huge migrant problems. Let's see. Yes, here we go. Logan Airport becomes temporary shelter, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Yeah, migrants sleeping in National Airport Terminal. It's not great being here. It's very cold. My children are sick, and we're waiting to find out about housing. Huh, yeah. Okay, yep. Good to know. All right. We talked a lot about New York Community Bancorp. Let's see. There's reassurances that there's no deposit outflow from branches. This is probably a lie. And meanwhile, the community has, or at least Moody's, has cut their rating to junk bond status, and because 33% of their deposits are uninsured. And Community Bancorp collapses to 27-year low after talks of regulator revealed. And I do have a standing short on these bad boys, so I'll keep you guys posted. All right, and let's see. How has the U.S. economy remained so resilient in the face of much higher rates? Here's the answer. This is a little fluffy. All right, we'll skip this. This is sorry. This is a dumb article. We talked about this. We don't have to dive in too deeply for this. Let's just figure out when this is going to be released on X or Twitter. Let's see. When is this? When is oh, let's see. Maybe Tuck Carlson's Twitter has it. Where is his?
Yeah, I've been following on Twitter and I have not seen, because I saw a lot of news about it, but I haven't
Yeah.
seen a release date
Yeah.
yet.
Carlson, Putin
Might be to be
interview
determined.
release. Yeah, when's the date? It was recorded on Tuesday, according to the Kremlin. It will stream on Mr. Carlson's website and also posted to X. 6 o'clock. Wait, 6
Okay.
ET. Is that today?
Maybe.
Today?
Yeah.
Yeah,
today.
today. All
Yeah.
right.
Today.
So fireworks then. So what's that? 3 o'clock for us? All right, exciting.
Yep.
Excelente. We don't need to, I'll remove this. I don't really care. We'll skip this. We're running out of time. They want to keep Germany as far away from Russian energy. So no surprises here. And Biden wants to bribe more students to vote for him. No surprises there. This is misfiled, just to be in the commodity section. I'll fix this. But yes, in case you didn't know, diamond prices are an all-time low. And as a wedding DJ, the wedding industry has freaking collapsed. A lot of folks are out of work, like my fellow vendors and whatnot. Resorts are doing kind of okay, but wedding sizes have collapsed for sure. I haven't had a wedding over 100 people since COVID. Everything's been like 70, 80
Wow.
people. And before, like maybe it was like 130 to 150. And for like the sweet spot for like a normal demographic distribution for a wedding, you kind of need at least like 130 heads for like a reasonable dance floor to be sustainable. Otherwise, it's like come and go and come and go, and it gets really petered out. So it's not as fun. But yeah.
Wow, that's big. I got to run in a second. Did we or will you talk about the tech collapse in terms of, I mean, we've seen stock bounces, but there's just so many mass firings. I don't know.
Yeah, lots of layoffs. So maybe like this, the recording will be posted. So if you want to fast forward later, we'll talk about the labor market for sure. It's just we have another 20 articles to go through in like 15 minutes.
All right.
Yeah.
Catch y'all later.
All right. Thanks for dropping in, Ed. Good to see you.
All right. Bye.
All right, so diamond prices are low, and if you guys have ever tried to resell diamonds, it is a horror show. And I've sat next to my gold broker just to watch guys come in off the street and try to sell diamonds. And they're like, hey, it's whatever certified. And he offers them like 25%, 30% of what they paid. And these guys have to bite the bullet and sell at that price. And just like, I'm just watching these guys like sweat bullets. And if you're selling wedding diamonds and engagement rings, like obviously things are in dire straits for a variety of reasons. But yeah.
Why is it collapsing? Why is the price of diamonds collapsing?
Because no one's getting married. And for starters, De Beers, this is a whole marketing ploy. Like, you know, like where the hell did it ever like who wrote the rule book to say that a diamond should be like 3 to 4 months of a salary? It's from these guys. Like it's great marketing. So they created the market. But the true value is the resale value. So if you want to flip the diamond you just bought, you get a fraction of what it is versus gold, silver, or anything else. Yeah. So meanwhile, let's take a look at Budweiser and see how they're doing. Looks like they've gapped. Oh, is this right company? Yeah. Okay. They've gapped up and they've recovered quite a bit. Unfortunately, I guess money talks, and everyone's been backing them up from Trump Jr. to Trump himself. I think that's revolting, but Money talks, I guess. All right. Big banks gobbling up small banks. We don't have to dive too deep into that. Let's look at JPM really quick as well. Yeah, it's part of US financials, XLF. We do know that from a sector rotation standpoint, XLF has been the top 3 and has been doing fairly well overall. And bankers tend to not lose, so no surprises there. We don't have time to dive into this, so we'll skip that. Boeing is missing door bolts. Sorry, yeah, and then more misdrilled holes and whatnot. So let's take a look at Boeing and see how they're doing. Not good. Dancing between its 500-day, its 200-day moving average. Sorry, 500-day moving average here, and trying to figure out what's going on. Bumping its head. Let's see what the betting public thinks about Boeing. Yeah, fairly bearish, kind of, and yeah. All right, let's fast forward. Let's talk McDonald's. All right. Cost of running a McDonald's jumps 250,000 in California due to minimum wage hikes. So we saw this diagram earlier in a different article. Let's look at specifics. Minimum wage California fast food workers is set to rise to $20 an hour in April, a 25% increase from the state's broader $16 minimum wage. Restaurants, including McDonald's, Chipotle, Jack in the Box, and others say this will raise menu prices in California in response, with some McDonald's franchisees estimating hundreds of thousands of dollars per restaurant added in labor costs. So yeah, everything will skyrocket. That's pretty sad. I do love it here, but lots of forces make it difficult to do business in California. Yeah. And then here's other places where there will be a workers' raise in minimum wage. So I would have expected this to be more isolated on the coastal states, but I'm surprised it's in the interior as well, since these areas tend to be a little bit more conservative. In theory, I guess. But yes, here's the CPI index. And where's the CPI food? Okay. Yeah, that's in green here. Okay, so all ticking up. So yes, it's not transitory inflation. It will be here to stay. So can we find a McDonald's price menu? Let's say San Jose. Is there a way to do this? Or do we have to look on DoorDash or something? Grubhub. Oh, no, we can go to McDonald's here. We'll go to McDonald's itself. All right. So if we're in South San Jose, let's see what a combo meal looks like. Where's combo? Featured favorites. Big Mac. There's a spicy crispy chicken sandwich. I haven't had McDonald's in like 19 years, so like I have no idea what's going on.
Don't do it. Yeah. So here's the funny thing, Warren. When I was out there, I went over to Fremont.
Yeah.
Where Tesla is.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I just needed to grab a bite. So I went over to the local McDonald's, and all I did was requested for a double fillet of fish, which they don't even have on the menu or the custom menu. I had to custom order it. A double cheeseburger, and a French fries, and a large coffee, and that costed me $18.
Wow.
Coffee, French fry, and 2 burgers?
Yep.
What?
Yeah. So just to let you know, it's like even the poor lady behind the counter felt so bad. I'm so sorry that it's so expensive. It's like, it's like, don't worry, this is the price of inflation. And she just kind of smirked.
Yeah. Got
Yeah.
you. That's insane.
Yeah.
That is absolutely insane.
I figure I share that.
Okay.
Yeah, like I went to Five Guys, right, for 2 people. Regular hamburger. I think 2 people, yeah. Regular hamburger, and then a French fry. I mean, I don't know, a burger with a lot of stuff on it. Like almost $60. 50 some dollars. I was like, is this correct?
That's nuts.
I was shocked. I was shocked for fast food.
We'll stick with In-N-Out. the people's fast food choice. Yeah.
Too bad In-N-Out is not publicly traded.
That's probably a good thing. They want to keep it that way. I don't blame them at all. and it's a great,
Yeah.
business already. So awesome. And then a perfect transition out of fast food. Let's talk about cancer. Cancer is peaking. No surprises there. Let's see, what are the most common types? Holy cow. Breast cancer for ladies and prostate for men. Oh, sweet Jesus. I have an old neighbor. She goes into surgery on Friday for uterine corpus cancer, which metastasized into her spine. So she's getting rubber cement injected into her vertebrae to stop the spinal damage. And she's in extreme pain because it's squeezing all of her different nerves and whatnot. So that's really sad. And we do have a friend you guys know that has prostate cancer, but I won't disclose their name just to be respectful. But yeah, really unfortunate. So yes, stay healthy, guys. All right, cool. Oh, this has been a disaster. 23 and freaking me. So I always knew this was BS from the beginning. So let me pull up their wiki article. And I've been trying to talk people out of not doing this genetic test, but they sell this at Costco, I believe, right? I think I've seen it there before in passing. Like the original test kits. But yeah. So effectively, this has been an investing disaster. It is now practically worthless. Let's pull up the ticker. Can we even still short it if it's like practically penny
It's
stock?
like 50 some cents. It's
Is there a
down to like
market?
57.
We can't even buy puts. Like
I swear, man, we got to create like a meta short template.
yeah, we do. I mean, Warren, that's the patented Warren technique. But yeah, this doesn't make sense because you can't even trade it anymore. But I should have been watching this a little bit better. But yeah, this has been a disaster. So yeah, nothing but outflows and yeah. So let's just back up a little bit. When did this start? Let's see. 2006. So if you guys recognize this name, this is the sister of Susan, whatever the Polish name is, who is the current CEO of YouTube. So this is Google adjacent fundamentally. Yeah, so has two older sisters. Yeah. Oh my God, that's right. And her spouse is Sergey, or formerly before they divorced. Yeah. So yeah, definitely Google adjacent, and their
Didn't
offices
she
is.
date Alex Rodriguez Arod?
Wait, who dated A-Rod?
One of the sisters. One.
Ew, Jennifer Lopez leftovers. A-Rod.
The aunt. So there you go.
She's a little cutie pie. But I guess he wanted to shift gears and date her, I guess. But that's Sergey Brin leftovers. Ew. You could date anybody, dude. What's wrong with you? Okay. But yeah, that's Anne, I guess. Personal life is A-Rod, really? Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Whatever. Okay. But yeah, so and then well the main thing that pisses me off is you don't own your data, and where that goes is very questionable. And especially if this goes into foreclosure, who buys the leftovers and who has access to this? And especially with gain of function research from COVID and whatnot, this is dangerous stuff. And then from a legal standpoint, not that I'm a criminal, but I've thought about this. If your relatives take this test, part of your, especially on the X chromosome stuff with women, basically part of your genome is also going to be cataloged. And if you want to, do any criminal activity and your DNA sample is found, even though your stuff is not in the record, they'll find your relatives and then that creates a person of interest list, and then that's a shortcut to catching you. So it complicates things. So I mean, I don't know what my siblings and cousins are doing, but Yeah, so that's definitely a problem. So try to be careful. And if you guys have done this test, you can at least try to like log in and ask them to delete your information. I mean, that might help a little bit, probably not really, but yeah. And what did
Hey,
Ross?
Warren, I question, how does this DNA, the 23andMe test, how exactly does it work?
It's a
They
tongue
take your
swab.
blood?
Saliva.
Saliva, yeah. They
Okay,
swab
and
your
then
tongue, yeah. Or tongue or inner cheek. Yeah, I forgot which one.
and then what do? They try to find your ancestors?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't,
Uh,
but how do they do that? I don't get that.
I mean, there's enough. I mean, there's a certain there's some stem cells even in your tongue or like in your saliva to catalog your genome. I mean, it's only what 46 chromosomes.
So the scary thing is like they actually prosecuted people based off of this. They were able to get this data from 23andMe.
Correct, and they will answer subpoenas. So that's the problem. So is this violating due process to a certain extent? A little bit. It's definitely gray area. It's not, yeah, it's a problem. So for any potential criminals and outlaws out there, you just got to be careful of that. So yeah,
Yeah.
not really a tradable opportunity, but something to watch out for. And yeah, we'll keep our eye on this. But yeah, gain of function research in general, adjacent to this, is really scary. All right.
Another situation too is I believe ancestry.com, and I'm trying to figure out the other one. There was also a Chinese one that is owned by the same organization. This is actually owned by the Mormons.
That's right. That's right. Mormon DNA company. Which one is that?
Just be
It
careful.
is ancestry.com. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, be very careful. Don't the last thing you want to do is provide more data for them to chase you down.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But it's cool. You can, find out where you come from. I mean, like, come on.
This is why I'm going through like the whole Chinese organizations instead. So there's like within Chinese they tie the names. So I'm trying to find there's a book that they publish in the Chen Society in Canton, and I'm trying to see if I can get a hold of that. So hopefully with that I should be able to cross-reference my great grandparents, and I get to find out what my lineage is.
Yeah,
I'd rather
yeah.
do that than giving my DNA.
Yeah. And I mean, there's great, like Chinese people have very detailed ledgers on that kind of stuff. It's kind of cool. And what did Ross send us? Corporate profits have contributed disproportionately to inflation. How should policymakers respond? How about policymakers stay the F out of the free marketplace?
So there was a study done, and they determined that, well, not determined. After all the research they did for about 2 years or so, 75% of all of the cause of inflation is corporate greed, not
Oh,
labor.
yeah. It's not supply crunch issues or anything. It's just, yeah, it's, was it
No,
never waste a
because
good disaster?
right. Because the narrative on all media is that, hey, labor, you got to control, minimum wage, right? Because that contributes to inflation. And they've proven it wrong. This is maybe the 10th iteration, and they've been proving it wrong for now many decades.
Yeah, corporate greed is real, for sure. And I think outside of, I mean, since we're traders, we're very privy to financial news. So I think, our membership understands that. But I think the rank and file, Joe Sixpack has no idea what's going on. They're just going to complain all day. Yeah, good stuff for us. Let's talk beef. Due to high prices in beef, our anti-inflation poodle has also shifted. He's reallocated his protein consumption to more chicken products as of late. So yes, the U.S. herd is shrinking to its lowest since '51. When is Mark Zuckerberg's cattle farm going to replace the disparity? We're not sure, but he's feeding them macadamia nut meal, which is never heard of, and we'll see if that turns them into weird things. But yeah, Shrinking share prices have pushed brief to a record 521 per pound. That's insane. But yes, you can eat insects because it's high protein. So yeah, that's wonderful. Awesome. We'll skip the migrant stuff. We know it's a disaster. Okay. Bankruptcy of some US states. For sure, California is one of them. We don't have really a lot of time. We'll skip it. We'll skip the jobs report. It was doctored quite a bit. We don't have time for that. Let's look at Tesla car sales, since that's static stuff and we can't, we need to look at that. So let's look at Hertz car sales, and we got our handy dandy listing still saved. Okay, so let's add this to our collection of, I need to steal it from last week. I'll make a note to fix this. But yeah, so the count right now is 777 for cars, and I'll add it here. Last week was lower, I believe, but we're running out of time, so that's okay. And let's just grab a highlight of the cheapest Tesla. Oh my God, guys, we've broken the $20,000 mark. It's 19.8. So that's just beautiful. Hertz is unloading 20,000 units, and now they're just broke below the $20,000 mark. And this is going to be a nightmare for Tesla owners everywhere as their resale value collapses. And this only has 88,000 miles. And there's definitely cars that have more damage than that. So yeah, let's see what else is high mileage worthy here. Let's see, 96,000, and still has higher value than the other one. So there's probably some car damage for that $19,000 unit. Here's a 94,000 unit. Any 100,000? No, I guess the official cutoff from Hertz's standpoint is do not let these hit 100,000. Yeah, that seems to be the rule of thumb here. That's incredible. Wow. Okay. Good stuff. All right, let's fast forward. We're running out of time. Blah, 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 blah. Big banks well placed to prosper from smaller rivals, commercial real estate distress. Well, big banks are too big to fail, and they have friends at the money printer, so it's whatever. Let's just blaze through this. I want to get to Chinese news. And what is Flav sending us? Wow, I've seen this before. This is awesome. Tesla suspension. Oh, that's great.
That's actual footage of a rented Hertz Tesla.
Oh my God.
I'm about to do bills and stuff. Do you have a minute to just go over everything? Okay, thank you. Okay, first things first, the Amex. What did you use? Oh, you used it for the draft.
Oh, pardon me. I'm muting you, Linda. Okay. Thanks, Flav. This is why the legal the age of renting cars is 25 and not 18. Okay. Let's fast forward a little bit. Can't trade on all of this. But let's briefly look at real estate through ITB, which is the home builder ETF. And we've tracked this for a while. It's kind of hovering, very range bound, still seeing strong inflows. I don't know why this isn't collapsing, but sure. Very thin market. Can we trade this? Dangerously. Oh, actually decent nickel wide. It's not too bad, but yeah, very range bound. So maybe I should run a calendar on that. One ITB calendar. Okay, that's a good idea. All right, let's talk tech news. And lots of fun stuff here. We got to fly through. We're way over time. All right. Okay, I thought this was kind of cool from Wall Street Bets. Usually it's a disaster of articles, but this was decent. So yes, NVIDIA is now a national security risk. It has become basically too big to fail, and it's critical, semiconductor infrastructure, of course. But the problem is they outsource all their manufacturing, as you know, and their preferred foundry is Taiwan Semiconductor. So yeah, it's everyone's holding NVIDIA, from their 401ks to different retirement accounts to day traders and retail folks, and yeah, everyone that's even tech adjacent. So let's pull up NVIDIA really quick. And I was reading like other like forum posts, and for fund managers, they're getting killed when you know, their clients ask for a more allocation to NVIDIA, but because of how they weight like mutual funds and whatnots, they can't do that. So you know, customers are pulling out of different closed-ended funds and trying to just get more allocation in general to NVIDIA. So yeah, it's kind of weird that this high flyer can create weird problems like that. But yeah, still huge, strong inflows since December, and that's 700 million shares per day. So still really popular. And if we go to the analytics, ooh, this is kind of neutral, slightly bearish actually, but yeah, it's still a high flyer and trading at an obscene 92 PE. This is getting really, really bubble-ish quickly. And what is Ross sharing with us? Oh, this is perfect. Perfect timing. Bitcoin versus Tulip Mini. Oh, this is awesome. Thank you. Let's throw this in the notes. That's glorious. Thank you to Ross. That's awesome. Beautiful image. Wow. So let's zoom in a little bit. Bitcoin market cap hits 1.2 trillion for the first time amid crypto fever. And then here's the tulip bulb. The rarest Semper Augustus costs more than a house or 30,000 guilders for a single bulb. That's incredible. And look at these curves. It's just, it mirrors it perfectly, you know. Hope springs eternal in a true Ponzi scheme called NVIDIA. But yeah, this is obscene. That's awesome. Wow, that's a great image. Thank you, Ross.
So there's a theme that I read on Twitter and elsewhere. You know, AI has three separate themes, right? First is the hardware, then you have the middleware of the platform, and then you have the software. You're, you know, we're in the first phase, which is hardware. At some point, everyone would have bought all the GPUs they need. And then what?
I guess middleware and everything else has to catch up.
Exactly. So that and hence the chart, right? Which is once all of the GPUs have been acquired, then you need all of the others to catch up. So at some point, there's going to be a lull in the GPU shipment.
Yeah. One day we'll be able to short NVIDIA safely, but today is not that day. Yeah. Yeah, and here's a reminder on how to delete your 23andMe results if you need. We'll skip that. This mofo, Adam Newman, he wants to do WeWork yet again. This will be his third rodeo. And holy cow, who is willing to back him? Dan Loeb's third point? What? I don't even know who that is. That is obscene. Who is this moron? Dan Loeb. Does he have too much money? Does he really want to just throw it away? I mean, can you blame him? He's a Columbia grad. Okay. His great aunt created the Barbie doll and co-founded Mattel. What in the hell? He's a classmate of Barack Obama? What? You mean Barry, right? I'm just kidding. We're not going to get into that.
So wait a minute, he's a Punahou grad? He's a Punahou grad.
Oh, so this is a graduate school for Barry.
Oh, graduate school, not
yeah.
Okay.
Before his community organizer days, whatever that means. But yes, why is okay? This guy just wants to light money on fire. Okay, oh, we won't stop you. Let's look at his personal life. Lives in the Hamptons, has 3 kids. Likes transcendental meditation. Okay, weirdo. Keep laundering money for the Dalai Lama. Okay. Oh, we haven't gone to Dalai Lama like scandals before. The Tibetan monks are very rapey. I'll leave it at that.
Really?
Yeah. I could put on my anti-pedophilia and religious scholars hat, but we're out of time. We can talk about that later. Remind me, and I'll pull up proof. But yeah, do not let your kids become Tibetan monks. They will get raped to death sometimes. Yeah, don't do it. Okay, this guy is weird, but yeah, he wants to back this loser. That's fine. Braver souls have tried, and still, like, this guy just does a lot of he loves acid and shrooms. Like we know his deviant lifestyle fairly well. He's like a better version of Sam Bankman-Fried and a little bit more presentable. And he picks women that aren't as ugly as the Alameda chick. Okay. All right. Vision Pro, shifting to Apple. There's been some cool footage here. Let's see if we can find it on YouTube. Morons being arrested and pulled over for Apple Pro Vision in Teslas. Let's see if we can find that. This is unholy. Like, I can't believe folks are doing this. This is so reckless. But yeah. Yeah, ridiculous. Okay. And there was one of a guy in a Cybertruck, I believe. Here we go. I think this was staged. So here's the goggles and yeah, Cybertruck. Wonderful. And of course, someone captures it on camera. So is this organic or not? Who knows? But the amount of like smugness and early adopter insanity here is just off the charts. I'm too poor for this video. Oh, this isn't that expensive. Like, you could do this for like $75,000. So it's not really a money thing, but yeah. Insane. We are really living in a dystopia. Okay. The South Koreans have figured out lithium batteries are hard to put out with water. That's great. We'll fast forward. Let's see. Apple devices have 3 weeks to comply to a particular security vulnerability. So in case you're a little bit behind on your security patches, check that out. So yeah. And that's not good for Apple stock. Let's take a look. And Apple is down 0.5%. People are buying the dip though. But yeah, it's had a nice double top, collapse, and now forming a kind of a double bottom, breaking through it's a 500-day moving average here. Wait, no, 200-day moving average. So yeah. But yeah, it's treading water here, right at the 0 line. Yeah. All right. Let's fast forward. We talked about this already. Oh, this will be fun. I'll make a watch list for this. But yeah. Best and worst IPOs. So there were 154 in 2023. And let's see, the best one, this looks Chinese. I don't know most of these. Does anyone follow these? And the worst ones are, let's see.
Kava and NXT are well followed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure what these are. Worst ones include, I don't recognize most of these either. Yeah, we'll have to make a watch list and play with these. Okay, cool. Let me write that on my homework. IPO watch list.
Do you guys have a IPO tracker, number of IPOs that comes out every year? Because there's a trend that says, unless IPO heats up, IPO action heats up, you generally won't get a bull market.
I think there's definitely a case for that. So yeah, this was from 2020 and 2021. I called it IPO yo-yo because they were bouncing all over the place. So like Unity, Snowflake, Palantir came out, Lemonade, C3 AI, like DraftKings. So a lot of these folks have not, I mean, half have done well, half have not. So it's all across the board, but yeah. But yeah, I'll add this watch list and share it with you guys. But yeah, I think you're like I see your frame of mind here. Yeah, so this is a this is like IPO success is adjacent to M&A activity and the business cycle in general. So I definitely see what you're mentioning.
And of course, it's connected to interest rates, right? Low interest rate, you have high IPOs, which leads
Right.
to booms.
Right, right. So by the count, right, this is a collapse from 2021 in a huge way, right?
Yep.
Yeah. But yes, it's a bull market, and a 5,000, SPY value is justified, or I mean, SPX value. I mean. Cool. Bezos is having problems. This kind of is related to Ross's prior question back in the day about insider selling. So let's see if we can find Bezos insider selling. Let's see what of his portfolio remains. All right, so let's see. Can we get an aggregate number? No. Okay, how do we interpret this? I need a better readout. Okay. He did a purchase of 1 share. Okay, Bezos. I don't know what that's about. But can we get a total? How much will he have left? Okay, I don't think we have time to do that, but let's just look at Amazon. If he wants to sell off, when did he want to sell off again? Let's look again. January 2025. Okay, so he's going to do a slow unload. I mean, it is at a sort of a almost it's not quite the all-time high, but it is for the year. So yeah, I don't blame him. It's a smart move. And if he announces it, he won't crash the price when he sells off. But yeah, people are buying into Amazon still overall. And as we know, AWS is doing well. And oh, thank you, Ross. Okay, here we go. This is a little bit better. Thank you, thank you. Percentage owned. There we go. Okay, we have an idea of scale. Let's find our boy. Insider name. Bezos. Bezos. Why is that not filtering insider? Okay, maybe we find his name here. Bezos. Jeffrey P. Bezos. Here we go. All right, Jeffrey P. It still doesn't read out correctly. Okay, we're running out of time. I'll have to circle back here. Okay, all good. We've talked about this kind of stuff adjacent. Let's fast forward. Okay, let's get to the fun stuff. Taxes. All right. This is kind of cool. I didn't know about this. Okay, one of the reasons for massive layoffs, this is in the Computer Science Career Questions forum that popped up, is IRS Section 174. So this is signed into law by Trump, went into effect in 2022 January. And basically it says companies could no longer expense developer salaries, leading to significant tax bills. This wouldn't have been as bad with low interest rates, since one could simply take a loan to cover the tax obligation. But as we know, the law change coincidentally with the hike in interest rates, making loans a much less attractive prospect. Sort of a perfect storm, really. This has not been talked about anywhere from what I've seen. This is the only place I've seen this mentioned. So kind of cool. But now you know. This is not a tax-deductible expense. So this will definitely affect when companies are trying to offset taxable net income. Yeah, they can't use this anymore. So a lot of companies overhired for COVID anyway, so now they're shedding a lot of fats and reducing their tax obligation. So the tech layoff situation will become worse before it gets better. Awesome. We talked about fast food and oh, this was kind of cool. Is Rob here? Let me see. Rob's not here. But as you guys know, Rob Walker, he calls trading education companies and teachers, he calls them tuition gatherers, which I thought was pretty novel. And because these folks are not really invested in their traders becoming independently successful. They just want to provide curriculum or enough enticing curriculum to collect tuition. And I think it's a fair analysis. And the parallel here came out from a lot of like programming YouTubers that teach you how to qualify for like a Google interview, what skill sets you need, how to pass the code interview and whatnot. So I've been following this kind of loosely because I'm thinking I need to branch out of marketing, which is like collapsing like crazy. And this also affects like guys like Tech Lead, who's this like flaming narcissistic sociopath on YouTube. But yeah, it's a fun thread if you guys want to read into it. But basically, I just screenshotted like the main gist. You sell shovels during a gold rush. And as everyone's trying to figure out how to retool their skill set and diving into boot camps, like there's a lot of money to be made in that. And whether that's good for the student or not, it doesn't matter. Like you're just selling tuition. So, that's similar to options trading stuff as well. So I thought it was kind of interesting. So yeah. Cool. All right, let's get to the fun international news. This is what we really like. We got the Putin stuff coming up at 3 p.m. We're having problems with the Red Sea crisis, and this supply crunch could last more than 6 months or a year. But honestly, I think everyone's talking out their ass because until the Houthis are removed one way or another, no one has any idea of a realistic timeline. So, and the only people that are getting actual access are the Saudis, ironically, and I think they're paying off the Houthis. So yeah. UBS is issuing very non-optimistic notes in their earnings report, and that's great. And don't forget, these guys own Credit Suisse's book of derivatives as well. We'll fast forward to the good stuff. We don't have a lot of time here. Let's look at some interesting stuff. We got to call it like 12:45. So we got to finish. Everyone's got to finish their trades. Who trusts the UN the least? Japan, Argentina, and who trusts them the most? India, Kenya, and China. Interesting. And Thailand. What the hell? Wani has to phone home and be like, "What are you guys doing?" Okay, but yeah, interesting.
Wake up.
There you go.
They're probably getting money from UN, that's why.
That's why China's up there because they bought their
Yeah,
seat
they're
in the
getting-
Security Council. Yeah,
And keep giving those countries money. So
yeah. Okay, we gotta fast forward. Let's just get to China news. Anything else good? Skip. The headlines are good enough. We talked about a lot of this. Uranium, we talked about a lot. All right, let's skip to China. All right, good stuff. So it seems like the plunge protection team in China is going to answer the problem of the stock market collapse and the real estate collapse with more debt. So, let's see, what's the key quote I want to show you guys? So I guess the move is China is waiting for US to start easing before it launches its own stimulus. And I think this is more to protect the RMB's, purchasing power, as limited as it is. Whether this is effective or not is hard to tell. But the delay is also existential. They can't really do too much. And if you look at Evergrande and how they're liquidating it and making them as the whipping boy for everything else, it just shows that Beijing doesn't really have a control of the situation whatsoever, and any attempt is going to be feeble at best. So here's like another example of a personnel change that isn't going to fix anything. But yeah, they appointed capital markets veteran Mr. Ching here to head the national securities regulator, to be the national securities regulator. And what this is going to do doesn't really matter. So in terms of market cap loss, this 3-year route is a 7 trillion loss already for Hong Kong and China. So this will get a lot more worse than before it gets better. And let's just go to the numbers itself. I forgot. So let's pull up the composite index. And remember, the psychological level is 3,000. And they already threw $10 trillion at this problem in the last month, I believe, total. And all that did was bump it up a little bit. And we have a nice dead cat bounce forming. And if you forget the dead cat bounce pattern, it looks just like this. And, something like this. So yeah, this is a better example. Brave is struggling with images, but yeah. So yeah, dead cat bounce here, and we'll see a nice collapse here further going down. And we're also seeing this on the Hong Kong side as well. Let's pull up the Hong Kong index. Hong Kong exchange charts. The Hang Seng. Let's pull that up. Oops, let me just pull it up. Hang Seng index chart. Okay. It's doing a little bit better than the Shanghai exchange, but in terms of size, Shanghai is bigger. So you have to follow the big boy. So yeah, this will not end well either way. Okay, cool. Let's fast forward. We talked about this. There's more political control for the residents of Hong Kong. That's going to be a disaster. And Chinese marijuana in the US is insane. So this also is adjacent to the fentanyl problem. And basically, in the drug forums I read, there's a lot of fentanyl-laced cocaine now and ketamine that's floating around, and people are dying. And that's actually good for dealers because, ironically, overdoses increase purchases because people or the druggies and the fiends see that that's a really good product and really strong. So it increases purchasing overall, despite the fact that you're killing customers, because there's always another dope fiend around the corner. It's kind of ironic and counterintuitive, but that's how the street mechanics or economics work. So yeah, there's lots of Chinese illegal grows here. This is a national forest land and also what's called BLM land. It's under the Bureau of Land Management. So all kinds of scary stuff there. So this is to create cash for a lot of things. And if you think about this, like we talked about this before, 60,000 Chinese nationals that we can count have crossed the border in the last 18 months. And then all of us, and then 18 months later, we're talking about 2,000 Chinese marijuana farmers. Like, can you see like the connection here? And then we also have enough fentanyl to kill the whole planet, several times over. I mean, hundreds of times over. So, at some point, a lot of the drugs will be laced with fentanyl, and you'll see widespread deaths all across the board. So the general rule of thumb now, that's kind of popular now is, if you can't test it, like don't use it. And that's especially common for powders, because you can crush fentanyl and then slip it into the various powders all the time. And cross-contamination is a real problem. So if a drug dealer, has his scale weighs fentanyl and then he weighs cocaine, with his next product, there might be some cross-contamination happening. And fentanyl is extremely powerful. So even a light, very, very minuscule dose can kill you. We talked about tariffs. We'll skip to the good stuff. It looks like this article that I want to show you guys has like been taken down or something. But effectively, China and South Korea both share this thing where they're funneling the youth into academia at a very violent rate, if anything. So it's like tiger parenting at its peak. And the problem is there's nowhere to land once you exit the academic funnel. There's no jobs and there's no white collar ladder to climb anymore. It's become totally saturated because everyone chases yesterday's news. And that's why the herd is always late to the party. So even though these parents had good intentions and worked extra hard to send them to the right kindergarten, the right elementary school, middle school, and high school and everything, and did extra tutoring and cram schools, it hasn't translated to actual success. And it's just because these kids were born in the wrong time. They're at the tail end of this whole demographic process, and it's becoming a unemployment shit show. So China led the wave, and then now everyone else is catching up. And we'll see this similarly in America at some point, especially with our, woke degrees and whatnot. And then that's partially why the fertility rate is so low. All right. And then, the oldest profession in the book, when everything goes off, like girls will rent themselves out. So here for Chinese New Year's, 500 RMB rents you a girlfriend for the new year. That's like $85, in case you were wondering. All right. All right, Warren, that's a lot of bullshit. Can we what did Ross post here? Yes. Yep. Cannot expense developer salaries anymore. Yep. Exactly. So let's talk nuts and bolts of Chinese stocks. All right, let's load up our favorite watch list, Panda Tech. And let me give you guys a run through of my research. All right, so here's the bad boys. Let's sort them by front volatility because we like spicier dishes here. All right, so most of these players can't be traded. They're too cheap. They're all like junk stocks under 10 bucks. And I think so. If you guys want to screenshot this, Neo is decent. So I've been shorting Neo a lot, Billy a fair bit. I do like IQ, but the liquidity is pretty disastrous. But I do like their high vol. Weible's not bad. JD is too thinly traded. I've been trading mainly Baidu and Alibaba, but actually my most profitable ticker, according to Toss, is Baidu. So for me, Baidu is a sweet spot because it's a $104 stock and it has decent liquidity and it has weeklies. And it's also not doing well. So yeah, so I've been enjoying trading this like every day, every other day almost. And yeah, that's been fun.
Just FYI, it's already past 10:45, so
Yeah, I see the clock. Yeah, cool.
Okay.
Thank you, Alan.
no
Mhm.
problems.
And then there's also Alibaba, of course. And then Pinduoduo is also not having a good time. And then, but let's go a little bit macro. Here's FXI, Chinese large cap. So these are all the big bad boys, and you can see we're definitely in sell-off territory. And we see these big spikes up with the $1 trillion cash injections from Beijing, but that didn't do anything. The market just gobbled it up like it was nothing. So yeah. And then here's KWeb, Chinese internet stocks, also in sell-off territory in a big way and a disaster. And if you want a little bit more leverage, here's CWeb, which is a 2Xer. And if you don't want the sort of aggregate effect, you can just go with individual stocks for a more binary outcome. And you know, in that case, it's like Baidu, Alibaba, Pinduoduo, and these fun boys to short. So that's been my go-to strategy lately. So yeah. So here's Alibaba down 4% for the day. So oops. And that's my alarm to check my portfolio. Cool. So questions, comments? We went hella over time, but yeah.
So are you just doing spreads to short, or what's your strategy?
Yeah. So
your tool?
Yeah. So I sell credit spreads. I've been buying some puts here and there, but I just prefer credit spread just to be safer. So I'll sell call spreads and be in and out and repeat and repeat and repeat. And I put on the shorts on green days, collect them on red, and repeat.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice strategy.
It's not very sophisticated. Just like we know China's in utter collapse mode. It's becoming Venezuela. So and then like we've seen this before. Like when prostitution goes widespread, it's a disaster. And Argentina has the same problem. Like here's 2018, 2023. It's really sad. So yeah.
So the money that the government is pumping into the market, it's not working then.
They're like only American can export, you know, inflation and pain like that. But China is you know, it's relatively a private currency, so they can't do the same shenanigans.
Can't do the same thing.
Yeah. And
Okay.
yeah, so they can only harass their own citizens, whereas we can harass the world. So yeah, it's really sad for the Chinese people, and this will get far worse before it becomes better. And famines and mass graves is just around the corner.
You think people will rise up, have some sort of a uprising revolution of some kind?
It's different this time because everyone is so urbanized. It's not like 1989, and it's a different mentality, and these are and everyone's the result of a one-child policy. So it's a different world. But yeah, let me stop the recording for now.